Happy Sunday, everyone. What is going on? What is going on? It is what is October 23rd, man. We on the 7th episode of Atlanta, y'all. I can't believe we only got literally three more episodes of this show, episode 8, 9, and 10. But we got 3 more weeks. We still got 3 weeks, and we got a really, really good episode to break down today for you all, which is episode 7, which was titled Snipe Hunt. The family, will they stick together? Will they go to LA together? Will they part ways? We're going to be breaking it all down today. But hey, before we get into it, I want to give a shout out to everyone that's joining us live. Sunday's the fun day, y'all. Not only do we talk about Atlanta first thing in the afternoon, but later this evening, if you guys are into those dragons, we will be having our live and final watch along for this final, or I should say this first season, because they will be coming back for season 2, hopefully sooner rather than later. And then later tonight, we will be going live again, having our live after show. So again, Sunday is the best time of the week here for MovieFiles, because we are talking about some of my favorite shows on TV, and very excited to talk about Atlanta. But again, y'all, just a friendly reminder, if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button. It spreads out the algorithm to get all the Atlanta people in here having a good conversation. Share this video. It means a lot to me. I appreciate it. If you got Instagram, if you have a Twitter, go ahead and share this link for we can have a good discussion. And more importantly, leave your thoughts in the live chat. And of course, on the replay gang, shout out to you. Show your boys some love in the comment section. So with all that being said, I got my guests in the back room. So excited to have them on. We've been chopping it up in the comment section for a bit for this show and a couple other things that we're fans of. And I'm very excited to finally get to kind of virtually meet him for the first time and obviously talk about this episode and get his thoughts on everything about Atlanta. I'm talking about the one and only Tyree and Rain. What's going on, my man?
What's going on? It feels great to finally be on here,
Man,
to leap from the chat and
man.
now be on the screen. It's like it's a surreal moment right here, and it's always good to communicate with different people on this platform. And I'm glad that you was able to bring me on, because we have a lot of common when it comes to like the shows and the films that we do choose to watch, weekend and week out or whenever they drop. But I'm glad to be here though.
Man, it's a pleasure, Tyree. Like I said, man, I've always loved seeing your comments, interacting with you, and being able to chop it up with you for one of the arguably the best shows, in my opinion, of all time in Atlanta.
Definitely.
This 4th and final season, man. But hey, before we get into today's topics and discussions, man, why don't you introduce yourself to the people out there, either that have come across your channel for the first time, and let them know where they can find you, man.
All right. For those of you out there who aren't familiar with me, my name is Torian Rain Reloaded, here on YouTube. I pretty much make, news commentaries, kind of like touching on some hard hitting subjects that some people are not going to really touch on, or touch on topics that people might be familiar with. But from my perspective on certain things, whether here or even abroad, I guess you can say sometimes it could be controversial depending on what the topic is or your viewpoint or your standpoint when it comes to that particular realm. I also do movie reviews as well on my channel, kind of like to switch it up a little bit, have a little bit of a balance on my channel, because some people have different tastes and things of that nature. But that's pretty much what I do on my channel. Crossed 50K last month. It was a journey getting there, but finally made it. Also, shout out to Elliot because he crossed 40K not too long ago. I'm sure that 50K is gonna be right around the corner, as long as he continues to get the support that he gets every single day from his audience and from a growing audience and a new audience. That's definitely going to happen. And as long as they keep pumping out more content for him to talk about and people keep gravitating towards him, then I'm sure that's definitely going to happen.
Yes, sir, man. And shout out to you with the 50K, my friend. And I have seen, he definitely hit some hard hitting topics, but much needed conversations, man. That's why I appreciate what he brings to the platform. And again, it's about to have fun, talk about movies and shows, but we got to know what's going on out there, man. And Tyree keeps us up informed with all that good stuff, man. So I'm glad to have him on, and his link can be found in the description of this video, y'all. So definitely check him out. But man, let's get into first off. When I have my first time guest talking about Atlanta, I want to kind of get your journey, man. Tell me, what was it about this show that attracted you to it? Were you one of those people that watched it day one, A1, or did it take you a while to kind of get into the Atlanta train? Tell me a little bit about your journey with this show.
Well, actually, I wasn't one that jumped on the Atlanta train day one. Like, I did not watch the show at all, like for the first season. What made me start watching it was I saw, believe it or not, it was from a meme. I saw a meme. I can't remember where I saw it at, but it was a meme of I forgot what episode it was. I think it was in season 2, where it was Ern and Van, they were at some kind of a party or something like that. And when I saw it, I said, let me, check this out. I said, let me go and look this up. And I said, oh, that's where that meme came from. It came from this show right here. And then ever since then, I've been watching this show faithfully. I was, of course, one of them people that when the show went in that long hiatus,
so long,
we were
4 years.
like, okay, when is the show coming back? Is it ever
Mhm.
going to come back? It feels like it's incomplete. It feels like there's more story that needs to be told.
Right.
And every Thursday night on FX, whenever the show was on, I was completely locked in. And I loved all the characters for different reasons. And another thing that I'm really loving is that every actor on this show has literally branched out into their own lane career wise.
Yep.
It's not like one person got all the shine and everyone else is just relegated to this show. Everybody on this show has literally carved out a career for themselves, and mainly due to this show. So I
Yep.
definitely have to give a shout out to Donald Glover in that aspect, because his pen game and his directing game is elite when it comes to this show. The ideas that float through his head in order to take something from here and then put it on paper and then put it and give it to us as the viewing audience is just simply amazing with what he has done. And definitely kudos to all this other supporting cast around him, because this is like a solid core cast and of only 4 people, because sometimes when it comes to cast, they have to have these big ensembles, but this just shows that when you have 4 people, you can do wonders with that. And not only that, even the filler episodes are good. And a lot of times people don't even gravitate to filler episodes, like filler episodes, no one wants to check for those.
Yep.
But they had quite a few of those in season 3, and all of those really hit like pretty good, especially with the overall theme of season 3. So I thought that was a very dope concept. I really do love, like, I love all the characters for different reasons. They all have their own different personalities. I think for most people, a lot of people like the Darius character
So left
because,
field,
because he's like the comedic relief of the show. Like he's so unpredictable. You don't know what he's going to do, but when he does it, it's like that's such a Darius thing to do. Like that's just who he is. And I always say that the people that got casted for these characters and in these roles were perfect, like to the point where you couldn't see anybody else portraying these characters at all. I wonder if Donald Glover would ever consider making an Atlanta movie.
We actually, that's funny, we talked about that last week, kind of getting a whether it's a couple years from now, removed from the show. I mean, why the heck not, man? They're all, like you mentioned earlier, they're all stars in their own right on the small screen in this show, and obviously translate into Zazie Beetz working with Marvel, Brian Tyree Henry working with Marvel, of course, Lakeith Stanfield doing his thing in the movie world. So I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but we'll see, man, what the future holds for these characters. But one thing that you mentioned, going back to your journey on the show, was your first time watching it weekly? Was it season 3?
Season 2.
Season 2. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, definitely season 2, because that was a Teddy Perkins. That was the Teddy Perkins season. I will always refer to season 2 as the Teddy Perkins season.
Yeah,
because if no one remembers anything from that season, they're going to remember that episode right there.
Yep.
And it's crazy. And that's another thing I'm going back to when I say the way Donald Glover's mind worked, because only he could come up with something like that, where you take a show like Atlanta that has so many genres to it, because it's not just one genre. You have comedy, you have drama, but to throw a horror aspect into it and have him portray this character who nobody knew was him initially. Which is a credit to his acting.
People still don't know.
Yeah, like people, like you said, a lot of people still don't know that was actually him portraying that role of this creepy old white guy who sounded like Michael Jackson. In this home by himself, and Darius is just driving around, doing, Darius doing Darius. And he's having to try to get out of this situation. And it's crazy because it's wild how it almost kind of foreshadowed a role for him that was going to come up and Get Out. Because it's like crazy how he did this role, this episode, and then he ends up in Get Out, albeit as a small part. But when I saw him in Get Out, I immediately thought of the Teddy Perkins episode, because I'm trying to tell Darius to get out of this situation. So he got out of one situation, he ended up in another one. Unfortunately, he wasn't successful with that one, but it is what it is.
Yeah, man. No, it's definitely season 2 to me. And shout out to everyone in the chat again, guys. Appreciate you all tuning in. Thumbs up, share. Check out my man Tyrine's information in the description. Give him a subscription. But yeah, Robin season to me was like, it's still like the best season of this show. But
Yeah.
as you mentioned, season 3, and Maxine's bringing up too, there was some people that wasn't really vibing with season 3,
Yeah.
understandably so, because it was that long break. And as you mentioned too, there was those isolated, I think it was like 4 isolated episodes where we didn't see
Yeah.
the main cast. And people were like, wait a minute, I've been waiting four years for the show to come back, and I got to have 4 episodes without them. So I get it. But like you mentioned earlier, and like Maxine says, I thought season 3, bro, was just, it hit on another level, man. As far, it's not as good as season 2, but I appreciate what season 3 brought to the table. But we're here talking season 4, Terry. And before we get into the 7th episode, how do you feel about the previous 6 episodes before we get into the 7th one? Has it been hidden?
I'm loving it. Like,
Yeah.
every episode is hitting, and like I said, this is the last season, so they're gonna go all out with it. Like, they're not coming back, unfortunately, as much as we will want to. So they can pretty much do whatever it is that they want with this particular season. And I'm loving everything that they're doing so far. And it's crazy because it's like every episode leading up to this one that we're going to talk about, it was pretty fast paced. It was a lot of stuff going on.
Right.
And in but this episode was more mellow.
Yep.
Like, they gave you enough time to like breathe and catch your breath, especially after last week. Last week was
our boy.
I said it was like the Wild West.
Yeah.
If the Wild West was in the city, in a metropolitan city, that's what last week was.
Yeah. No, I agree. This season so far has definitely felt like a harken back to the earlier seasons, with also adding in a lot of the social commentary we come to love. But some of you hit on, which just jump right into the 7th episode. We've been getting a lot of callbacks this season, whether it was learning that the Princeton situation from season 1 with whether it was potentially finding out about the guy that was mentioned in season 1 and the bartender talking about the not so friendly guy and him being that guy potentially last week, to something that we met these characters in season 1, man, which was season 1, episode 1, the relationship between Ern and Van. And right off the bat, man, this is a relationship that has been I don't want to say rocky, but it's been kind of, are they together? Are they not together? I mean, literally in this episode, she tells Ern, I'm going on a date. We've seen him date other women, but it's all come full circle in this episode. And just your thoughts on how we kind of, again, you mentioned it, the perfect word was just very mellow, right? It was just, we open with them on the road, going to this celebrating Lottie's birthday, and right off the bat, I mean, I'm thinking like, what's gonna happen in these woods, bro? Are they about to get tortured? Are they about to meet White Ern? That's
funny.
Mr. Chocolate gonna be in there trying to kidnap Lottie. Like, what the hell is gonna happen, man? How did you feel about just getting into this episode and seeing the family on this celebrating Lottie's birthday?
I was right there with you when it came to the woods. I didn't know what to expect, and I've been watching a lot of people react to Friday the 13th this past week, with Halloween and everything like that.
Right.
But one thing I like about this show is that whenever one episode ends and they preview the next one, they only give you a tease, literally a tease of what's going to happen, and you don't know what's going to happen. Like with this one, in this episode, it felt like this actually felt like it's getting towards the end, because you only heard Ern asked Van one thing, but we didn't even know if that was Van he was asking. He said, how do you feel about leaving Atlanta? And that was it. And when I heard that, I said, this really feels like the end, because that's not a question that ever came up in the previous seasons. So this actually makes you feel like, okay, this is like the end of the line right here. But like I said, with this episode right here, I can say is Lottie was over it. She and I said that felt so real, because what 7-year-old, or she was turning 7, right?
They were celebrating a 6. She's a advanced 6-year-old.
Okay, she was turning 6. Okay, she was turning 6.
Yeah.
What child who's turning 6 would actually want to go and do this for their birthday? So I thought that was realistic, because I think any child would feel that way. Like, why are we doing this? Like, we could be doing anything else right now, and you want to go out into the woods for my birthday, and that's not even what I want to do, because honestly, I don't think it was what we wanted to do. It's what they wanted to do.
Yeah,
but
they Ern wanted to do. Which
they just pulled her along and say, "Hey, it's your birthday, so we're just gonna like shoehorn that it's your birthday, but not really." I mean, they figure that, oh, she's so young, she really wouldn't get it. But I said, nah, she understands fully. Like, she was over. Like, you can look at her facial expressions, body language. She did not want to be there at all.
at all, man. No, I totally agree with you. And we'll get into that a little bit later. I have my reasons why she was potentially acting like that. But before we do, Tyrion and everyone in the chat, I got the homie coming back, joining us again with her incredible insight, her amazing levity that she brings to this discussion with her great jokes. And again, I love having her on. I'm so excited to have her back. I'm talking about my girl, Tyra from Struggle Reviews TV. What's going on, Tyra?
Hello, it's some new faces here.
Yeah,
What's up?
Tyra, this is Tyra. All right.
How you doing?
How you doing? I'm fine.
I'm doing great.
Oh,
Tyra, how we feeling?
I'm good.
This black love that we got in this episode.
Oh, this black love, huh? That's yeah. I mean, this was a nice episode. Like it was a quiet episode, but it was a nice one. It was necessary after what we went through last episode.
Yes, most definitely.
But hey, before we get into the thoughts here, Tyra, why don't you reintroduce yourself to the people, or introduce yourself to the people to the first time, and let them know who you are, where they can find you.
All right, I am Tyra with Struggle Reviews TV. Of course, you can follow me on YouTube. You can also follow me on my Instagram to stay up on the latest of what I'm doing. I pretty much specialize mostly in throwback content. I do have a paywall for those things. I talk about everything from throwback movies to current movies to TV shows to skits to it's laughter. It's a good time. It's a whole gumbo of everything that you would want to see on YouTube. So come on over and subscribe to my channel.
Yes. And what was the was it Black Love? Was that the most recent one you did?
Yes.
I gotta check that out. That's an old school one for me. I saw that as a kid. I've only seen it once, but I gotta check out your review on it. Did it still hold up for you? This little
no, this is actually part 2. This was Scream, Molecular Scream. So the first one is definitely superior.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of superior, and Tyrion, this is kind of a pivot off of Atlanta for a second, because I know Tyra's a DC fan. Did you guys get a chance to check out Black Adam this weekend?
I did. I saw it on Thursday, and I really enjoyed it.
Yes,
really enjoyed it. What about you, Tyra? I know you're not a Marvel fan. I know you're DC like me. But
It could, I'm extra. It could have been better. Like it's just little small technical things that would have just made the film like absolutely perfection. And it just has to do with little, things like the villain or, the writing or, just small stuff. But I really liked it compared to what we've seen this year. It was great.
Listen, DC right now, everyone.
Yes, all day.
Peacemaker, the Batman, and throwing Black Adam is way superior than Doctor Strange and Love and Thunder and even some of the shows. So DC's winning right now, if you ask me, guys.
Yes.
But getting into your thoughts, Tyra, me and Tyrion were talking about just the opening of seeing them together, celebrating Lottie's birthday. How did you feel about this? And I haven't rewatched the episode yet, but I'm not sure that we got a logo, right? We didn't get a logo in this episode. Like, maybe
good point.
That they're going away from Atlanta and they're moving to LA. No. What do you think about the opening there, Tyra?
We didn't. And as a matter of fact, because normally there'll be, whatever's happening, then they'll pivot and show us the Atlanta logo. Yeah, I don't think we saw one, because I always pay attention. Like, I always try to look into how creative, they place it somewhere. Right. I didn't do that this episode, but I already knew where we were going with this episode. Like, you don't open an episode with Sade for people not to be together. Like, I already knew where we were going, so I was like, I was ready for that conversation. I kind of knew where we were. I just was curious as to how we were going to get there, because within the episode, it seemed like Byrne's mind was already made up as far as what she didn't want to do. Where I was like, really, we gonna use Lottie's birthday at this moment? Like, Lottie don't want to go off into the wilderness, like a 6-year-old. Like, yeah, we're gonna go camping. Like, I don't want to do this, but of course, it wasn't just that. She's just over the whole. I think Lottie was over them. Like, I love Lottie in this episode. I was very much so surprised to see that she was just turning 6.
Right? I'm like, this girl should be at least 11, 10 years. So
I thought I gave her at least like we're at least 7 or 8, but like 6. I'm like, okay, clearly Lottie is an old soul. She was over it. Like when Lottie said, like, I don't even want no happy. Like, just don't even tell me her brother. Like, just I think she's over their dynamic in their relationship. Like this back and forth. You can see that it's affected her, and you can see the change towards the end. But I enjoyed this episode. I was glad that we got to get that conversation between the both of them. And it's just something real tranquil and quiet about going into the woods. Now, within Atlanta, every single time somebody has been to the woods or been on the lake, it has not been good.
It's not
Right.
the best
So
idea.
I was waiting. I'm like, okay,
That white
And it's
man,
October.
get him right.
and
Somebody
then
gonna get him.
especially being a parent, like with Lottie, I'm like, why y'all just letting her wander?
Her
It was
wander
just
around.
she was too far. She was too far. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I don't care where we are, or if you bought out the whole camp park. Like, no, she needs to be right here by the cricket tent. She going too far. But other than that, like I thought it was a really, really good episode.
No, I agree. And Tyrion, just tossing it to you, man. And Tyra touched on it. The opening with Sade, Your Love is King, and we'll talk about how that ties into the ending, man. But I'm a big fan of Sade. I grew up in the house of playing Sade, mom all the time playing it. But again, going into this conversation, it seems to be, I don't want to say it was tension, but it seems to be like there was something off between Ern and Van. I think they knew that the conversation was inevitably have to happen. Even a little slight thing like, hey, Ern, you need to maybe slow down a little bit on this road, which I think is a double entendre with not only slowing down for safety reasons, but also I think you see Ern being a little bit more, his ego's kind of put aside in this episode, right? He's not as like, we know Ern to be very kind of, is leading the way and very petty, as we know from a few episodes ago. But man, this man goes to the extremes. But what did you think about the tension, the anxiety? Did you feel that within the first opening sequence here, Tariq?
I would definitely say so. Like, and I think that also goes into the credit. Like, if I'm looking at the image right here now, I noticed that the show, that they film with sometimes with a certain filter, but look at how dark it is in there.
Yeah.
And it's light outside. Like, look at how dark it is in that vehicle, but how light it is outside. It's like the dark cloud is hovering just over them, and everything else is just kind of bright. Now, it could be the thing, they in the woods, the trees can be blocking out the sun, but I just noticed how dark it was in there. And that just let me know that the mood was kind of off a little bit right there.
Yeah.
And one thing too, people, the fans finally got what they asked for and saying, when are we going to have a moment where it's Van, Ern, and Lottie all together? Because usually it's Van and Ern, or then recently Van and Lottie, but it's never all three of them. So I think this was also a fan service thing to say, okay, we're finally going to give them an episode where we have the whole family there. And we're finally going to do it, and it's the last season. And why not have it be a mellow type of episode? Because when it was Van and Lottie, it was a lot going on at Mr. Chocolate Studios. It was a lot going. Yeah, there it is right there. It was a lot going on right there.
Yeah.
So I thought it was good that when they have them all together, it was a more toned down kind of level episode.
I couldn't. It's such a good observation, because I think the last time we saw Ern, Van, and Lottie together was season 2 finale when Ern was leaving to go to Europe. So it's a very good catch there, Tyrion, that we don't see them a lot, which I think speaks a lot to maybe that uncomfortability in this episode. But Tyra, like I mentioned, and Tyrion mentioned, it's Halloween, it's spooky season. When they pulled up to the white man, and like, hey, you got to go out to this man about to sabotage this whole family trip.
Yeah.
I was reading the comments as you guys were speaking, and then I think in my comments too, I see a lot of, why didn't he propose? And I may be on a sinking ship alone, but I'm not the one who just absolutely shipped like, oh, I would just sink if they didn't end up together in the show. We've never actually really seen them together. I went back to just double check because I couldn't remember, but I'm like, we started off the show with them not being together. And then I think like season 2, we spent so much time in the gray area. It was back and forth, and maybe they wanted to embark on a real relationship. Well, mostly on Van's part, but Ern wasn't ready at that point, due to everything that he had going on, and just period. But like for them to just go from this to like, oh, I want you to marry me, like I was like, I feel like that would be a bit too much. It's like nobody's done the work to do anything to go, you know what, hey, I think we're in a good place to just like even moving to LA. Like, of course, I was looking upside Van's head because this episode, she's like, I just have to drop everything, and I was like, what are you doing? I'm sorry, but I'm like, what exactly would you be dropping? Like, it's not, more
right. You literally went to Amsterdam, put your daughter at your mom's house, and was going 2 months. So yeah, what's in LA or what's in Atlanta?
Just that emotional work, because it's I did love the fact that neither Lottie, because she already has some pushback. Like, you're not going to go on this camping trip and act like you've been here being my dad the whole time. Like, you've been MIA chasing your dream. Like, you haven't been here.
That is a very topic I was going to bring up. Yeah, I definitely want to have that.
You have Van, like her and Lottie, they have just such a great connection, and he's just kind of on the outside looking in, like for a bit of the episode, because he doesn't know this Lottie. I'm like, we way far removed from little Lottie that was on the bus with you, while the bean pie man, was sitting there like this. She's not a baby anymore. But I just would like to see some work done on their part. I was glad that they didn't make it easy for him, and he had to kind of be vulnerable and come up out of his body this episode to like, it's just like, I asked, like, why you don't want to come? Like, what more do you want? Like, no, you have to do a little bit more than this. We don't have the best track record. But I just was like, I would love to see some real work put into their relationship, or somebody like
couples
really
therapy,
handle.
Tyra? Are we talking couples therapy? Go back to the
therapist. Like, because I was like, the fact that he did use Lottie's birthday, but that you had to use Lottie's birthday, rent out a whole park. Just to feel like I have to isolate you just to get an answer. Like, we have to do that, and she has to. Well, let's make some s'mores. Like I was like, it was a lot of work just to get a yes. So I'm like, we got to put that much work into it. Do we really want to go? Are you guys really okay?
I agree.
But I was happy,
Yeah.
like saying that. I was happy to see them together. But I'm like, I hope that they really do some work on their relationship, because I was trying to think back to where, besides maybe them just hanging out, like, oh, I'm gonna take Van on a date, or just that back and forth, that hot and cold, they've never actually been in a real relationship. They've just been coexisting together and being parents to Lottie, more so Van than Ern.
That's a good question. And Tyra, I'm curious, and I want to get your thoughts on this next, Tyra, is just wondering, did you assume that, and this is my interpretation of the relationship, that they were dating, but prior to the show started in 2016, they were dating for maybe like 6 or 7 months. Things were going good. They matched each other's energy, and they had Lottie. And it wasn't necessarily a mistake, but it wasn't planned. And they had to kind of fall into this relationship while still discovering who they are as people. Tyron, do you get that vibe, or do you feel like they were dating for a while and then Lottie came about, and then they were kind of maybe going their separate ways, and then Lottie brought them back together? How have you like?
No, I think it's definitely the first one, because with how they are, and I don't really know how old either of them, but just with where they were, Ern and Princeton and whatnot. She's trying to find her way with the teaching. It's a lot. It changes up the entire scenario of a relationship when it's just you versus, okay, now we have a kid. Like, I'm not through growing. I still haven't found myself yet. So it's just with him on his journey with Al and the whole thing, and then we kind of have Van trying to do the same thing when the teaching thing didn't work out. I think it changed their relationship a whole lot.
What about you, Tyron? You always
I definitely agree. Like, I don't think that there was really any like solidified relationship there. It's just one of them things, they just kind of like hooked up, something happened, and here we are, because they never ever came across as a couple. Because you know how some people, they can be together, and even when they break up, it's still something that you can tell that they were together. But with them, you can tell they never had a solid relationship. The only connection they have is their daughter. That's the only connection they really have. It's one of them things like, okay, what are y'all? It's like, are y'all together? Are y'all not together? Are y'all friends with benefits? What's really going on here? Because y'all really like in that friends with benefits range, but y'all don't go all the way to the benefits part. It's like y'all probably want to go to. It's almost like they're a car. They're too scared to go forward, but they don't want to go back. They're stuck in neutral. They're like right in that gray area with them. Like it's almost like you can't really figure out what their relationship is, because they definitely have some type of relationship there, but you really don't know it. But you know what? Maybe that's not for us to understand and interpret. Maybe that's just something for them to understand. That's just how they are.
No, I agree. Their relationship, and I think Tyra mentioned it, they'd never been on steady ground or foundation. They seem to always been dating, but it was season 2. I think you're right, Tyra, that they tried to do the less boyfriend, girlfriend. He would take her on dates and all that stuff. And then Helen was kind of the moment where she's like, what is this? What are we doing? Is this, I want to move forward. So yeah, I definitely agree with you. But before we move on, man, shout out to the homie Abundance with the super chat. What's each of you guys' favorite Sade song? Ooh. I mean, I gotta be generic. Love Smooth Operator. I don't know. That's like the first time. Sweetest Taboo.
Probably I Couldn't Love You More.
Okay.
All different songs.
No. Yeah, she's a whole vibe. So, and I already got my playlist queued up after this episode. So yeah, shout out to Abundance, and let us know, everyone in the chat, if you're a Sade fan, put your favorite song of hers in the comment section. Let us know. But shout out to Abundance with the super chat there. Appreciate
I had saw a comment in the chat from Macy Cheney. They said that the Atlanta logo was in the rearview mirror.
So Macy, that whole I've been looking for. I can't.
They said, and I said that's actually dope when you think about it.
Yeah, like
Atlanta's in the rear view and leaving it behind. I said, oh, I see what you did there. I said Donald Glover is a genius with that logo. I said that was perfect right there.
Macy, hit me up in the chat. Let me know timestamp, because I still have not seen, and it's everyone. So there was definitely an Atlanta logo in the review. All right, hit me up, Macy. Put it in the time chat or time code it, for I can pull it up on the screen here. But again, I think Tyra, you alluded to it, or Tyrion mentioning that we never really seen the three of them together. And like this was, I think this was the first scene really that kind of shows you a little bit of that dynamic in their kind of funny moments as far as their sense of humor. What's the percentage that this white man is going to kill us, as Ernst says? Put it about 8%. That's a bit high. And mind you, y'all see Lottie is literally right there. That just kind of shows you a little bit, again, their sensibilities and also them as parents. So Tyra, I'm just curious on how did you feel about their parenting, co-parenting situation in this episode?
Well, we see who the parent is.
Yeah.
We see who the parent is. Like, I have such like a love-hate relationship with Van because she's such a good mom. She is such a good mom, and she's so present, and you see that bond. You can tell that they spend so much time together. Or even when you have Lottie go, I wish my grandparents were here. Like, you can see who she's been spending all of her time with, and you can see who she hasn't been spending it with because they've been working. But I was like, we here for Lottie's birthday? This is what we're doing. I was more so paying attention to the fact that even though this is a slower paced episode, it's tranquil, it's quiet, there's like nothing around, but we still found a way to incorporate Ern's excess spending. It's like, I rented out the whole campsite. I got this, who needs, a porch on a tent? Like, I got a tent with a porch, and, he's just fine. Oh, just leave the tent. Like, it's nothing. Like, I don't know. I was just getting different vibes from how he was able to inject him still, spending, like, set it and forget it. Like, I don't care. I got the money. I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm scared for them to leave and go to LA, honestly. I am, because I'm like, I love, who they are with each other. I know that they could be, their best together, but it's like, if we're not doing the work, what is, a move we're really going to fix? But I love the episode, though.
That's a good point. And before we get Tyrion's thoughts on that, we got my man in the back room joining us today, who just crossed another celebration. We're all about celebrating here. Tyra is about to cross the 10K soon. Tyrion just crossed 50K. Let's win at 60. And my man Brandon Keith Avery from Just My Opinion Reviews just crossed 40, and he's here joining us live. What's going on, my man?
Nice.
Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Elliot, Arrange, Tyra, how y'all doing?
Doing good. Brandon, Tyrion, I'm sure. I think I've seen Tyrion in your chat before. So
I was in his chat this morning. He was talking about Raising Canaan.
There you go.
Bro, you was dropping them comments, right? Man. Good stuff. I
said he woke up ready to talk about this. I'm like, you all the way in Texas, and it's like 6, 7 in the morning, and this is the first thing you do when you get up.
And always coming through with the
nice to meet you, man, and thanks for all the positive words.
No problem.
You are awesome. Brandon, how we doing today, man?
We're doing pretty good, man. Sorry I'm late. I just came from the grocery store and got me some
bro. I went shopping this morning. Yep.
So we're doing good, man. Did a power live at 6 a.m. Did my Atlanta live at 10 a.m. and I'm here with you. You guys. Got another live later on tonight, so we working today. We working.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, man, before we get you into the conversation, B, why don't you, I'm sure everyone knows who you are, man, but just in case they just created a Google account today, they've been in a coma the last 10 years. Who is Brandon from Just My Opinion Reviews, and where can they find your content?
Well, yeah, man, I'm Brandon Keith Avery with Just My Opinion Reviews right here. Got my social media right there on the screen if you want to follow me there. I'm a big geek. I'm a big nerd. I love talking about movies, TV shows that are streaming, whatever entertainment news is out there. I just like to talk about it on my channel, whether it's a review, a recap, a live stream, a trailer reaction. If I get lucky, I may get an interview or something from a star, but, I just like to geek out on entertainment, love that martial arts and comic book stuff. That's my favorite. I kind of try to dip and dab into all types of different forms of entertainment and genres and stuff. So if that's your thing, follow me, subscribe. I would love to have you.
Yes, sir. And listen, Brandon, I didn't get a chance to tell you, man. Yesterday, I saw your Till review. Shout out to you, bro. That was an
Hmm.
awesome review, number one, and you let it all out, man. And I
Yeah.
appreciate the raw emotions, man. I missed my screening for it. Well, actually, they didn't even have a screening out here. So after your review, man, I might have to check it out, bro. 'Cause
Yeah,
yeah. I was a little apprehensive because obviously, you know, I'm very familiar with the Emmett Till situation. I didn't know if I want to go into that film and then 2 weeks later go into Black Panther and just ruin my whole rest of the year just being in the mood.
I mean, you ain't gonna have no more tears left.
No more.
It's
Right.
gonna be barren. It's gonna be barren in your eyes.
But according to
Right.
Brandon, it's something that's worth checking, especially I heard the performance that you mentioned from the young lady was just fantastic. So I
Yeah,
gotta
man.
check that out, man.
Yeah.
And you know,
Yeah, thank you, thank
so
you.
crazy to add. It's crazy that you say about the woman who portrayed Mammy Till. She started off with Tyler Perry.
Really?
I heard, I just heard that.
She
Yeah.
started off working with Tyler Perry before she got this. And when I saw her in this role, and I looked at the stuff she did with Tyler Perry, I said the 180 in her performance is crazy. Because if you saw what she did with Tyler Perry, it's way different than what she's doing in this movie.
That's interesting. That's so funny.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
That is what's up, man. But Brandon, man, so far we've kind of talked a little bit about the intro, and we kind of pivoted over to just curious, B, how do you feel about Earn and Van's relationship prior to this episode? And do you think going into this episode that they were going to end up together, or do you think Van was going to stand her ground? Just your thoughts on their relationship as
well. Prior to this episode, I don't even know if you can call it a relationship. It was kind of like all over the place. You know, they were just, you know, there for Lottie's sake, and you know, convenience, or you know, I'm bored, I need somebody to hang out with or somebody to have sex with. I know that Van has kind of been wanting it to be more official the whole time, more than Earn. I think it was season 2 where they had the what's up, Zia? I think it was season 2 where they had the German episode where they went to that bar or pub and they kind of went to the side and she was like, I don't want to just be your fuck buddy. I want more than that. He kind of dissed her. And so it really wasn't a relationship. It was just more of co-parenting or bang bang buddies in a way. Just a situationship. You can describe it many ways. But when it started off, man, I was happy. I was like, yes, we you know, it's kind of rocky, you know, like that when they were trying to put that tent together, it was kind of some cringe moments here, you know, but I was just happy that they were together.
Yeah.
You know, I love the way it ended, but yeah, it was and to answer your other question, was Van going to stand her ground? I don't know. I couldn't pinpoint that. It was up in the air, like a toss. So
no, I agree.
You know, I was hoping it ended the way it did, but I wasn't sure in the beginning.
Well, we'll get into if Earn was manipulating the situation a little bit later, but I was hopeful for him, and we'll see what the future holds for him. But getting back into the episode, Tyra, we see them again going back to, you know, Earn, can you slow down, to him getting the tent all set up and the tent being too large and having 19 bedrooms and him kind of flexing that around. Just your thoughts again on Earn. Was it more or less in your mind that he was just trying to impress not only Lonnie but impress Van and show her maybe like, hey, I've come a long way since sleeping in that, you know, storage room and sleeping in your apartment and not paying rent and all that. You know, I'm stunned a little bit. You know, come to LA with me. We can live this lavish lifestyle. Do you think it's a little bit of that, or it was just Earn just being a little bit too, I don't know, pretentious in the moment with that?
I'm trying to rush. Trying to rush everything. Like I'm trying to hurry up and get here. Let you know, put a lot on my shoulders. We can go in this deep, rapid water. Probably get quick. Like I just want you to give me an answer. Like it was a whole lot of you know, extraness coming off of Earn. Like I was digging, you know, with these Atlanta episodes you dig. Like I was using that whole raggedy tent as a metaphor. I was like, see, y'all foundation is broken. It's raggedy. That's why y'all didn't get this thing to stand up. Like it's just more than that. Like he just thought that he was going to rent out this space. Like I got a nice, you know, expensive, you know, tent, and it's like, but yeah, where can Daddy sleep? Daddy can sleep outside. Like we're not okay. This is you know, this is not an okay situation. It's more than you just throwing some money around. You haven't been as present, and you know that's not even for their relationship, but it's with Lottie. Like Lottie was so bothered. Like that's what my main focus was so much on Lottie. I was listening to them. It wasn't too much to their conversation. Just Van just constantly deflecting because she didn't want to talk about it, which made me feel like she was gearing up to like slowly just tell him no. But you know, with the convincing, she eventually gave an answer. But Lottie speaks a whole lot to their relationship and where they are as a family. And Earn was trying to manipulate that. It started with manipulation. If you're going to take Lottie's birthday and go, yeah, let's go camping, but this isn't about Lottie, it's about her, but you just wanted to isolate the both of us so I could be forced to give you an answer.
Kill two birds with one stone, I guess, right?
Two snipes.
Which we'll definitely get into. Terry, I'm curious, man, and just I guess pivoting over into little Lottie. I took it as her disconnect from her father, because Ernie even says, like, what's wrong with her? And he was trying to talk to her, and she was kind of ignoring him. Oh, daddy can sleep outside. Did you take that as her, again, being a little bit upset that she's out there in the woods and didn't really want to spend her birthday there? Or did you take it as, in the way I viewed it, is she's so intellectual and can kind of sense a lot of stuff? Do you think she knew about the LA move and she felt like her dad was leaving her yet again, like he did in season 2, to go to, Europe for a couple of years? Like, how did you feel about Lottie in this episode? Do you feel like she was kind of distant from Ern?
I agree with you when you said that she feels disconnected from him, because she hasn't really been around him. She knows that Ern is her dad, but Ern hasn't been a father figure to her. She just knows, okay, that's my dad. He's there, but he's not there. He just happens to be present, and usually just kind of shoehorns me in the middle of it. And I think she realizes that even at that young of an age, because, kids are very impressionable. You'll be amazed about how much they can pick up on at a rather early age. And you saw it come across in this episode, like when they were putting the tent together and Ern was talking to Van, how Lottie was not with them. She was off walking around. I got kind of scared for a minute there, because the way that the camera was shot is like she's walking like towards the river. Ern was asking her, do you want to put the tent together? She was like, nah. And she's just like, she's like, it's almost like she was bonding with nature, honestly. Like it looks like she was rather more engaged with nature than she was with whatever they had going on. And I think she has picked up on that. And I feel like she knows she doesn't want to be in the middle of that. So it's like she's trying to carve out her own lane without having to be placed in this rather compromising position of being between her parents. She knows that the reason her parents are together is because of her. She knows that, but she would rather not be in the middle of all of that kind of conflict either at the same time. And as far as Ern, coming out there saying, it goes back to what I said. She was over that trip from the minute we saw her in the car. She did not want to be there. Then that goes back to the manipulation that Ern be doing. She didn't want to be there. Like, what 6-year-old want to go out there camping for their birthday? Like, no, unless they there with like some other friends. She's the only child out there. It was just her dad and her mom and nature. Like, she did not want to be out there at all. She had more fun just wandering off, even though that was kind of scary a little bit. Just looking at the water, looking up at the sky, listening to nature. She had more fun doing that than being with her parents.
I agree. B, what did you think about little Lottie in this episode? Her kind of disattachment to Ern, and do you feel like Ern has been kind of absent as a father?
Oh, well, yeah, Ern has definitely been absent, and that's clear with how Lottie was responding to everything in this episode. But this episode made me very, very anxious because I did not know what was going to happen. I kind of thought that Lottie was going to get lost. Well, first, when they were putting the tent together and she was on the bench, and then she started going over to the river, I got scared because I thought an alligator or a crocodile was going to pop out and grab her or something like that.
This is what the show does to us. We're expecting the worst.
Right. And, I don't mean to just sound so morbid, but, that has happened before. A few years ago, there was a child that was snatched at Disneyland or Disney World at one of the resorts, and unfortunately they're not here with us anymore. But I thought of that, and I was really scared. Also, when Van told her about, and to answer a question that you asked Torian, no, I don't think at all that Lottie knew about LA and the move, but she definitely felt the disconnect. But when Van was first teaching her that they're going to go on a snipe hunt, and Ern was making his comments like, I thought that was like a racist joke and yada yada. When they had that brick wall structure and she was wandering off and she came over with a toad or a frog, I kind of thought that she was going to get lost and wander off while Ern and Van are having their conversation. They turn around and can't find their daughter, and then the whole episode they're looking for her. But through that nervous panic that they're having, like, oh my gosh, where's my daughter? They're arguing, they're fighting, while simultaneously trying to work out their issues. which was going to bring them together. And I kind of thought, like, I bet at the end of the episode they're going to find Lottie, and she's going to find the actual Snipe. You know, a make-believe animal that's long with red eyes. And I was like, they probably would, up the budget for a CGI creature just for like one shot.
Right.
and the show is so random sometimes. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was some dragon-like creature playing with Lottie, so I didn't know.
Man, behavior right.
He went way into the rabbit hole with that.
Yeah, I was like, oh God, like I just don't want this little girl to get lost. I was just very, very nervous about that. But going back though, I kind of slightly, I'm gonna push back on all of you about the manipulation thing
with Earn.
Manipulation may be one word to use, but that just kind of sounds dark and sinister, like you have nefarious reasons. You know what I'm saying? Like, because like Elliot, Torian, you cannot be broke in this world as a man. You just can't be broke. You if a woman looks at you and you're broke, that's bad. You're garbage. A woman can be broke, but a man cannot be broke. You just can't. That's just a rule. Why you shaking your head?
Well, yeah.
What? I'm just saying, like, you will get dragged in the streets if you broke. You gotta get your paper up. And so for him to be, like you said in the beginning of this show, this dude is sleeping on people's couches. He's sleeping in the storage unit. He got some money now. I cannot be mad if he wants to flex a little bit and take care of his daughter. He hasn't been there as a father figure, as you said, Torian. He was the dad, but not there as like a father figure, or vice versa. But at the very least, you can be there, monetarily, and buy nice things. And I'm not saying that's enough, but you're not there financially, and you're not there physically as well. That's just double bad. And so I just felt that he was just trying to do. I'm not knocking Earn for not trying to knock out 2 or 3 birds with one stone. I would probably do the same thing. Like, okay, I love this woman. I want to be with her. It's Lottie's birthday. We haven't been together as a family. Let's just clock out, go off the grid so we can, spend some nice quality time together. I think it's more genuine than manipulative, but that's just me.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I'm curious, and also too, not to throw it off the sidetrack, because I was just curious when someone mentioned Brandon, what's the young lady's name that's in Till? I can't remember her name off.
Danielle Deadweiler.
Yeah, so you guys mentioned she was in the Champagne Poppy episode, and here she is right here. She was the friend of Van in the Champagne Poppy episode when she was coming at that white girl for dating the black guy. So yeah, I wonder if she'll come back.
She had that death stare.
Oh, she was on one.
She looked like she could cut steel with them eyes.
I wonder if we'll get her back. But bringing it back, Tyra, did you have anything to add? What my man B. Avery was saying as far as the perception of women, being more acceptable to not have that, money in the pockets versus the guys?
I mean, it's different perceptions for everything. Like, I think we could say the same thing for Van, because I always felt like, not that she didn't have her own, crisis going on with trying to find herself, but I also felt like there was maybe a little hint of jealousy on her part, or a little envy. Because it's just
Season
like
3, he came out and said, I don't know. Yeah.
I'm still trying to find my way.
Right.
And once, I was that person. I was, more in control of my destiny, but now I'm lost. And while you've been all finding yourself, low-key kind of living your best life, I've been not only struggling with myself, but I've been the sole parent for Lottie. So I felt like there was always a lot of resentment on her part. But I just think that with Lottie, it was like, well, I'm just out of this. Like, I don't care. It's my birthday. You're a revolving door. And when I do see you, you take this moment to take me to the woods. Like, this is what I want to do and how I want to spend my birthday. But I'm happy for what he did. I'm glad that there's some money, but just how he kept kind of injecting money into the episode, it's like, don't think that that's enough. Like, that's never going to be enough. You have to do more than that. So my fear is that if we go to LA and we're there, you could still very much live together, be together every day, and still be parenting the child by yourself. So her coming and leaving there, going with you, that's not going to change anything. Like, if you don't want to be as present, you're just not going to be as present. You can work just as much in LA as you do in Atlanta already.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, there was a comment you say you want to address, man.
Yeah, Miss Pink Leslie Reviews. I see your comment. I just wanted to reply. It says that's false because when women hold down broke men, but when they get on, they leave your ass. Yeah, the last part is messed up. Let me clarify. Yes, a woman will hold down. Like if a man and a woman in a relationship and he's doing okay, he's doing his thing, but he falls short. A down ass chick will hold him down. I'm saying in the very beginning, in the inception of the relationship, when y'all are getting to know each other, hey, what's your number? Can I call you sometime? If you're broke in the beginning, I don't think a woman will be accepting, in the beginning. If you already have a rapport in a relationship and something happens, that's different. But in the beginning, if I don't got $2 to my name and I'm 35 years old, a woman gonna look at you kind of crazy, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's just
in
kind of
his
how
opinion. It says it on the wall behind him.
Just his Leslie. And I mean, and to bring it back, Tyron, just get your thoughts on, again, going back to what Tyra said and Brandon said, and this whole conversation about just the dynamic. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Van I don't think she has a job. Not that it matters or not, but since she lost her job in season 2, I think, and
she's a free spirit, quote unquote.
She's almost a Darius type. But yeah, I think there was in that Helen episode that we've been referring to, that was like the last straw for them two. I think that he said, because she said something about him being a manager or whatever. She's like, hey, I wouldn't knock it because it's paying your bills. And again, her going to Amsterdam, I don't know, I don't think she has anything. But Tyree, just your thought on that dynamic, on how she's been kind of attached to this relationship. Do you think she relies on Earn financially, or like what's your thought on that dynamic?
I think at some point
it was Tyra, right? It wasn't me, right?
Yo, Tyra, and then go to you, Tyra.
Okay. Because the name sounds similar.
Yeah.
But I think initially I think that she probably, was like, she was there because she maybe saw something in Earn, to kind of like push and to guide him into a certain space. She probably didn't really expect it for it to go in the way that it did, but it just kind of happened. And then it's almost like it pulled a reverse type of thing, that now she's in the position he was in, and now she's trying to find her way. And we saw that in season 3, because
right.
Everyone who was there, Earn, Darius, Al, all really has something going on, except for Van. Van was just kind of just there because she's a part of the crew. That's why in that last episode, she just kind of spiraled out of control. Like, she assumed a whole new identity. Right. She was talking with another accent. Like, that was a crazy episode right there. Yeah. But she acted her face off. I kept telling everybody that was her best episode when she, in that episode right there, because she was so convincing. But when she finally broke and she snapped and started breaking stuff in the kitchen and started, you just didn't want to be in that moment with her. That was like that was her breaking point. Like, that was her boiling point. Like, at that point, she just kind of blacked out because of all the stuff that was boiling over from previous cases of what was going on in her life, whether in her personal life with just herself or with Earn or anything else that we don't know about. And I think it just all kind of came out in that moment right there. And we was just sitting there saying, I hope in this hiatus that she got some therapy, because we like, this is the Van we're used to seeing right here. And it was kind of scary at the same time. But that just goes back to Zazie Beetz' performance in that moment right there, because we never see her go off like that. She's always been the more calm, level-headed one, especially with her being the only woman in the group. And her being a mother, she's always been like more nurturing and more level-headed. The only other time we saw her snap again was with Mr. Chocolate, because that's what she had to
enough. Put a foot down.
She had to be Mama Bear in that moment right there. When a mother with her child, that's how she's going to be. So she's going to be naturally very overprotective of her child. But yeah, I would say that going back to, and I kind of forgot what you were saying. I was going off on a tangent.
No, you're good, man. As far as the dynamic between those two, do you think she feels like she has to rely on Earn financially, or substitute for him not really being there because he is getting that bread? Like, what do you think about their dynamic?
I don't think she wants to rely on him financially, because she doesn't want to come off as the leech, so to speak. She just kind of wants to do her own thing, which is why she went to that studios to try to get work. And then when Lottie started getting all the work, then it's like, okay, this was supposed to be for me, but I don't want to come off as the jealous mother that's jealous of her daughter. I'm glad they didn't even go in that direction, because that would have made us look at Van in a whole nother light that wasn't a good light at all. So I'm glad that they didn't do that, and they went the direction that they did. But I think that Van just wants to do her own thing, where she's not attached completely to the hip of Earn. Because let's just say that, you know, Earn goes out to LA and he becomes even more successful. What are they gonna start saying about Van? Oh, that's just, you know, she's riding the coattail. You know, Earn and his girl, they won't even address her as by her name. It's just his girl. So I don't think she wants that to happen with her.
Interesting. B, did you have something to add to that, bro?
Kind of. I hope I don't get flamed for this, but in y'all's opinion, does Van come? I don't know if I want to use the word lazy or irresponsible, but I got that because you brought up the Mr. Chocolate episode when she was in the trailer getting her makeup done. She was talking to the other black girl, and they had a moment because they agreed. She was just kind of like, yeah, and I kind of just want to do this and do that and get the. It just seemed like she was kind of making excuses for the situation that she was in. And I mean, that's just kind of the vibe I got. And because the other girl co-signed on, like, oh yeah, I'm kind of just out here freelancing, you know, hoping something falls on my lap too. That's just the vibe I got. And I know we were just talking about her working, and I forgot that she was a teacher, but I kind of just feel a certain way about it just depends on everybody's situation is different. But I sometimes, it just depends on the situation. I just sometimes feel a certain way when a woman doesn't work. And I'm not saying when I get married, I'm not saying that I won't make enough money to where I will take care of my wife, and you don't work. I mean, I will do that if the circumstances are call for it. But just in certain situations, I feel a certain way about that. Because I got a homeboy that he's married. This was years ago. They were struggling financially. She was complaining, but she didn't want to work. I just had some feelings about that, and I kind of got that same vibe with Van in that booth, and her being free willy nilly in Europe doing whatever she wants. I don't know, but I don't know if y'all agree if she sometimes comes off a bit irresponsible or lazy.
Tyra, I'm going to toss it to you first, since we want to get your thoughts on that. How do you feel?
I could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just
no.
No, I completely understand what B is trying to say. I've always had a problem with Van trying to figure out her self-worth for the past, seasons or so. Like that's going back to me feeling like she's had some resentment. As she should. It's just like, I've been the sole provider or whatever for Lottie. I've lost my way. Meanwhile, you're flourishing in your career. But it's like, nobody has stopped you in any way from pursuing anything. So if you would like to, you definitely could. I have a problem with her for the most part, especially in this episode or even previous ones. She has this situation going on with lack of self-worth or her identity, because as soon as somebody goes like, oh yeah, you're Lottie's mom, like it's like I'm more than that. Like, okay, well it's nothing wrong with, like, she's a great mom. Like everybody kind of throws that to the wayside as far as a job or you being just great at something. And everybody's not an exceptional mom, and she's been able to do that, but it's like she doesn't place that like equal that to like self-worth to go, oh, I am a good mom, like I put a lot of myself into Lottie. And even with him trying to pursue her to go, it's just like, oh, you just want me to go because I'm Lottie's mom. Like it's like she has no identity. And I feel like if she like goes to like what's going to change, like you have to find it in yourself to want to do more. And a lot of the times, like since the whole situation with the teacher, like it didn't pan out the way she thought it would. It's just like she's been lost, and what she has been able to do is be a really good mom to Lottie. And I just wish that she would place as much worth in that and how great of a mother she is, equate that to being something, because it's just like she kind of feels like she's nothing. And I'm like, well, dang. dang, like you have a lot to offer. Like, because in the meantime, Earn wouldn't be able to do what he does if you didn't do what you did. So like, find some worth in that. And if it's just that bad for you to just feel like, oh, I'm nothing if I don't have, then go and find your own thing. Nobody's stopping you. Nobody says you have to be dependent upon Earn for everything. I feel like if she had her own thing going on, then she could, it'll be a little bit more pep in her step. But right now it's just like, oh, I'm just a mom. Like, girl, get up and do something about it if you want to be more than a mom. Like, nothing, as B said, like, nothing's gonna fall into anybody's lap. If you want to change your dynamics of who you are as a person, then you have to get up and do that.
It's interesting. This is interesting. I'm loving this. Tyrion, man, your thoughts on Van? Just kind of agree, disagree. And we've only technically have gotten really one solo Van episode. Well, Champagne Poppy was kind of her centric episode. The value as Tyra was talking about, that was her episode in season 2. Like, how do you feel about Van, man? Do you feel like she's kind of using the Lottie mom as just like that's who she is and kind of plays the victim of that? Like, she's more than that, but she hasn't shown that she's more than that. Like, how do you feel about Van?
Yeah, I would agree. Like, she is playing up with her being a great mom, but then again, there are a lot of great moms out there, but they're not in the same position as she is, and she's not in a position that they are. She can't always use the thing of, oh, I'm such a great mother as a crutch. It's like, okay, you're a great mom, but like I said, there's a lot of great mothers out there. What else do you have to you that is of value outside of you being just a great mom? Because not everyone's going to take pity on you just because you're a great mother. I mean, that's a great role to have, and it's something that should happen regardless. Like, that should be a requirement that you are a great mother. Like, no one's going to accept you being a bad mother, but only being a great or a good mother should not be the only thing to your name. Like, you wouldn't put that on a resume. Imagine you turn that in and say, under job, great mother.
Put it on mine.
Like, what is this? Like, get this out of here. Like, next person. But she can't. She cannot lean. She cannot lean on her just being a great mother. Like that. So I do agree with that. Like, there has to be more to her, to it than that. And I think that she definitely
with her leaning into it. Actually, I'm fine with her leaning into it. Like, I think she doesn't equate that to being successful. It's just like she finds no value in being that good mother to Earn. Like, if Earn, not Earn, to Lottie, if Earn would have been out there with Lottie alone, and Lottie was, acting the way that she was, she probably would have got lost. she probably would have got lost, but it would have drowned in that water. But it's like, if you aren't content with that and you want more for yourself, then I wish that she would just go out and do it and not just. I honestly think she has resentment for Earn just because he has flourished so much, and it's just like, dang, I'm just Lottie's mom now. Like, at first, like, she was kind of the sole breadwinner for a minute. It was more so
they were staying in her apartment in season 1. So that was her place.
Yeah, and that goes back to the thing. It's like everyone, like, how you said she was like the breadwinner, like she was helping everybody else out, but now it's gotten to the point where it's flipped and everyone has surpassed her, and now she feels like she hasn't elevated. Like, she feels like she's stuck in that one spot, and now she's looking at everyone around her, seeing as how they're advancing, and she's just in one spot, and she's like, what am I really doing here? Like, do I even belong? Like what is my purpose here? Like, am I just here, or do I actually serve a purpose for being here? Because right now I feel like I'm the outsider. Like, at one point I was here, but now I'm still here, and everyone else is up here, and I'm still here. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like I said, going back, being a good mother is not a resume.
I'm glad you brought this to the table, man, because Van has just been always a fascinating character to me. And again, like you just said, Tyrion, just think of the season 1. She was the breadwinner. They were in her place. She had the job. She lost the job. And I guess, to be fair, on her resume, she could put that she was a chef, because she did cook some hands. She can get out.
Wow! I forgot about that. That was
I forgot all about that.
Crazy celebrity games, right? She can play with the best of them, with Alexander Skarsgård and whatnot. So she has talent. She's a multi-talented individual,
and apparently she can. And apparently she can beat people with a baguette, which I didn't know that could be possible.
Man,
hold on. What about the Juneteenth episode? And that's another thing too that goes back to like their relationship. They were faking their relationship just to kind of fit in with the Joneses. So Man, we can have a whole conversation about these characters and stories and where they're going with them. But getting back to the episode here, Brandon, again, on the road, on the journey, my question I have for you first, Brandon, everyone on the panel, everyone in the chat, have you ever been camping, Brandon?
Yeah.
Tyra, have you been camping?
Yeah.
Tyra, you been camping?
Yeah.
I guess it's just me and you, B. I never
Well,
in the woods. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, in the woods. In the woods.
Actually, once I don't know if it was considered camping. We wasn't in it was in a lodge, and it was at Lake Texoma. I don't know if that's considered camping.
Well, maybe we'll ask Tyree and Tyra. They're the camping experts on the panel. Is that considered camping to you guys?
If you didn't sleep outside.
No, it was not considered camping.
Okay.
Not no lodge. What is that? That's the bougie camping.
You had indoor plumbing.
Right. If you wasn't out there, listen. If you wasn't out there spraying that off on your body,
Yes.
trying to keep them bugs from attacking you, and you wasn't carrying a bug zapper, that wasn't camping.
That don't count. Well, I'm with you, B. Let us know in the chat, guys. Have you guys been camping after this episode? I don't know if I want to go camping now to see those wild creatures.
Please do. It needs to be an experience. Go.
It's an experience.
I love
even
it.
if you do it one time. I would say go with a group of people that have been camping before. Like, don't go with no inexperienced people that's never been camping, because y'all gonna get on everybody's nerves. Someone may not make it back alive. A bear might come. Y'all just need to be like with people that have been camping before, that can show y'all the ropes, like how to build the tent. That's a task in itself. Just building that tent.
God.
That's the most annoying part, is building that tent. They can come with as many instructions that they want, and it's like, I give up. You be in it to like 5 minutes, and you be like, listen, I'll just lay out my sleeping bag and sleep on the grass.
Yeah. What you're saying, Tyrene, is don't go camping with someone like Ern, who tells you to cross these rapid waters.
Exactly.
Horrible idea.
Right. Exactly. What in the world?
Man. What a trip. But getting into, I guess, Tyra, your thoughts on this. So I've read some of my comments in the comment section. Some people really took the sniping, the title of this episode, and really kind of flipped it on its head, metaphorically speaking. Did you take anything away from like the idea of the snipe and anything you like deeper meaning you took away from it? Because I just took it as just like kind of and I'll get to my thoughts here in a second, but what did you think about the sniping element and Van sending her on this journey or whatnot? Was there more to it?
Nothing at all. Like, people in the comments, like, just start a channel, because y'all always.
I love it. I love those comments. They be
they
like,
go
man,
big
so
and
philosophical.
make 1 + 1 = 2. I was like, what? I didn't go that far. All I thought was like, first of all, I was worried about her getting lost. Like, y'all let her wander off, because they were just so, especially Ern, he had a whole agenda, like, happy birthday, but yeah, I need an answer. I'm here for this answer. So with them talking, their backs are turned. Like, to send her off to maybe go find something imaginary that doesn't exist, or the characteristics of the snipe that she was describing, it doesn't exist. So it's like you're doing something so elaborate to get this little conversation alone. Meanwhile, Lottie's getting lost in the woods. Mm-hmm. But I had a few comments, that kind of turned it like, well, no, this correlated with this. But me personally, I was not adding none of that together. Mm-hmm. I was like, watch her in the woods. That's
right. Exactly.
That's all I was paying attention to. But I would love to know what they had down in those comments, because I had some interesting stuff in mind.
Tyrion, man, any super thoughtful, intellectual discussions about the sniping?
I'm the same way. I didn't read too much deep into it. I just thought, like, that's just the name of the episode. Like, I didn't really go too much deep into it. And just took it as that, and I didn't want to like try to go that deep into it either. But one thing that I did notice when it came to Lottie's character, and I just realized that when Brandon mentioned about the frog, did any of you notice that when she had found the frog and she had the frog in her hand, the frog was very cooperative with her. It wasn't jumpy or ready to leave until Van said, just put the frog down. And like, she put the frog down. And did you notice that when Van and Lottie went towards Ern, the frog hopped in her direction? It literally like bonded with her, and it went in her direction the same way it did at the end of the episode when she had the snake inside of the pillowcase. She went and put this snake inside the pillowcase, and it was calm. But the minute Ern went towards it, it got agitated.
That was a snake.
I think that was. I think it sounded like a snake. I don't know.
What it was something from Prometheus. I thought it was
it made a hissing sound, so I'm assuming that it was a snake.
That was some
But that's
strangers.
it. So what you're saying, Tyrene, is that she's a animal whisperer, or what was the show, the
Hey.
Thornberries? She's Eliza Thornberry or
Little
whatever.
Thornberry.
Talk to animals. Is what you're
a
saying?
little Dr. Doolittle.
Little
She's gonna be
Doolittle.
talking to him soon. They're gonna be talking back.
Who was this comment? Somebody said that Ernst Snipe Van. Like, what?
Yeah, I saw that. Let me see. Yeah, here it is. Here, B. Did you have any deeper meanings, man, that you took away from the sniping? Who got sniped?
No, I didn't know what that meant. Now after I watched the episode, well, right before I went live, I googled it. I was like, "What does snipe mean?" I googled snipe hunt.
Yeah,
and I looked that up, and I was like, "Oh, it's just sending somebody on a wild goose chase." And so, Zia put a comment up like she was screaming at the TV, "Watch the baby." I'm just really uncomfortable with the way Van was talking to Lottie about the snipe. Like, I don't know why you would send her on a wild goose chase, but even when they set up the trap, she was like, "Oh no, you have to hunt a snipe by yourself. We're just going to be over here."
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? This is
Crazy.
it's blackout night. Like, it could be any type of wildebeest out there, and it's large or small.
Right.
Like, no, I want you 5 feet in front of me, like with the fire, and I can that was just really uncomfortable. I kind of, for a split second, I was like, is she finna have another nervous breakdown and leave them in the woods? That crossed my mind for a second. But yeah, I didn't really have any deep meaning to snipe. I didn't know. I had to Google it.
So
I just Googled it too, like while y'all was talking, to see if I could find anything. I couldn't find no write up, nothing.
All I saw was like it was maybe like the descendant of a bird or some type
Right,
of. I didn't see.
Which in this episode, Van does. It's kind of in the fork or the background. She's telling Ern what it's a bird, and the whole idea was that she's not gonna find it. It's gonna be like a little thing that she could just be busy with while we can talk. But I brought up the internet earlier because people online, like Tyra said, they make up some really interesting theories, and I found one online. Shout out to Ziggy, I think was their name. As you all can see, their interpretation is, and I thought this was very well said. Ern was the snipe. Very rare. It only comes out at night, and this person's alluding to Ern's emotions. It has red eyes. We know he cried a little bit later in this episode. Only the coldest and smartest can catch it. Ern admitted to Van that she's all that he's ever wanted. She has a dream girl, and she's the coldest and the smartest. And Lottie, did you ever catch one? No. You think I can? And Ern. So they're pretty much saying that Ern was the snipe in this episode. And I don't know what you guys think about this particular theory or metaphor or deeper meaning. Agree, disagree?
I like
it.
Stretching
20 on 10 with these episodes.
I love it. This is why I'm gonna miss this show so much, because there's so much you can take away from and interpret things differently and whatnot. But Tyrene, any thoughts on that, man? On that
I mean, it's a theory. It's a theory. I mean, like I said, I didn't read too much deep into it, so I would have not have guessed that. That would have not been my interpretation of it at all. I mean, I'm just leaving it right where it's at. The only people that really know what it's about is Donald Glover, because he wrote it. So he's the only one that I would ask this question: does this episode have a deeper meaning besides what we saw, or the title? Like, what does it actually mean? Or is this just something you just named it that?
I got one for y'all. I just thought about this off top. Stick with me here. So the snipe is a metaphor of their relationship, right? They're trying to find this relationship that might be a folktale to them, because they've never been able to find an Ern and Van relationship, or this family. And the family is a snipe, and Lottie's the one that brings them together. Is that something that we can work with, guys? Is that a bar? Is that a bar?
Sure. I don't know if you're.
That sounds like a great value version of what you just had on the screen.
Yeah, pretty much.
My thing was like, how strong is y'all, foundation, your little co-parenting? How strong is it if y'all have to send her off to find some imaginary creature alone?
Right.
Like, you got to go find that alone. Like, the way that I just felt like, who does that too? I don't care if she's a 5-year-old. I don't care. She just turned 6. She's still 5. Who does that? I would never, as a parent, go, oh no, I'm not coming. You got to find it on your own. So like what you was talking about, like, what y'all mean? What does this mean? Y'all gonna ignore her when you get to LA? Like, I don't know. I don't know.
That was weird.
It was weird.
It was very weird. But one thing that was not weird, I'm not a hopeless romantic, y'all, but I love love. And I love seeing black love, which I don't think we get enough of in today's media. And I don't know, man, I think everyone should get someone to look at them the way Van was looking at Earn being a dad. Again, we don't see it a lot, but, you know, he's being a little jokey dad and and talking about ice cream and eating ice cream and all that stuff. But Van was just, I don't know. I took this moment as her being happy and them being happy. Tyra, did you take anything away from this moment? And we'll get to obviously Lottie's smile a little bit later, but how did you feel about the love that was in this episode?
Well, yeah, I was happy for this moment because I kept only seeing Van pretty much engaged, and you have it being afterthought. And Ern's like, what is that? And it's just like, oh, you know how she is. This is her being like, no, he doesn't, because he hasn't really been there to get those social little cues to know, oh, this is what this means. But it was like, okay, like, yeah, this is what I would love to see more of. I love you just, you know, y'all engaging and joking around. Like this is the Ern I would like to see. I want you to be here a little bit more to do some of this with your daughter.
I agree. B, what you think about this moment here of a man just kind of being
what scene is this?
So this was when they got done with their picnic and they're walking back to the campsite, and Ern's just being goofy, like, hey, you know, there's this man name, I can't remember, made up some name. He eats ice cream, he lose weight ice cream. It was just being a dad, and she was behind them. And also too, you notice that Van, they were switching over the bags, like Ern was holding the bag at one point, and then Van's holding it. So like he's getting time to be like they're splitting their time with their daughter almost. But what do you think about that? This
is after he confessed his love for her in the tent.
No,
this is before that.
Before that.
I'm tripping. I'm sorry. I like she looks happy. She looks happy. That's good. You know, she having fun. She matches. You know, man, I'm basically, hey, it was cool, man. Go to Torian because I'm
so deleted scene first time.
Yeah, things look like they're working out. So
working out.
I am tripping. I completely forgot about this, I guess.
You good, man. You good. And this is before they got in the kayak and all that stuff. And she talked about
okay, because right here she was saying that she missed her the grandparents was there.
Right. Which I don't know if she was talking about Ern's grandparents or Van's grandparents or parents.
To me, I felt really sorry for Ern right here because Tyra, and I don't know if you've ever asked your kid this, but I know sometimes parents, you know, when they're with the kids, they're probably like, okay, what the hell am I doing right now? Am I doing a good job or not? Are you happy? You know, like you know, like the kids have a school project tomorrow, and it's up to the parents to get the supplies or the new shoes or whatever, and they go to the store and buy them. Like, hey, are you happy? Do you like your gift? You having fun on your birthday? You know, I mean, I've heard that a number of times before. And it just seemed this right here, it seemed like Ern is really hitting him like, I am failing as a dad. I'm failing as a father. I kind of suck right now. I'm trying my best, but everything is not working. You know, Van is making fun of me because I bought a tent that was too large and, you know, we're going to be cold. And it's really hitting him. Well, to me, the way I saw it, is really hitting him right now that he is not.
It's not going according to plan.
Doing what he needs to do. You know, so I felt bad for him because he's trying. You know, and he has turned things around. But yeah, I do remember this scene.
They got a question for you. Be in the chat. Your Cowboys are losing apparently to the
man. You scored it. I was gonna jump on there right after this. I was gonna start it from the beginning, but it's good.
Tyra, I mean, to answer B's question, did you feel bad for Ern in this moment? Like he's maybe dropping the ball, or maybe this luxurious tent out family vacation isn't going as planned?
Who'd you ask?
Oh, Tyra. I'm sorry.
Because I was looking at her to see. I was going to see if she's going to answer or me.
Miss Tyra from Struggle Reviews TV.
Oh, my bad. I did not. I did not feel sorry for him one bit. Like, you know, what do you expect if you're not present? Like, it's just no. You know, I'm a parent. I have a whole relationship with, because I have two baby fathers, honestly. I have a relationship with one. We're still together, been together for a long time. I do not have a relationship with the first one. So a lot of dads leave and expect that same cadence, that same, like, no, once you, you know, take some time apart and you're away, you're not, privileged enough to come back and have her like, are you allowed to keep that same energy with me that she kept when she was 3? No, it doesn't work that way. And you isolating her on her birthday and, wanting to make fetch happen in these woods, it doesn't, it doesn't work like that. I think maybe he had the revelation that, I have to really put some work in, because even though I love the joke moment where he's talking about the ice cream, I remembered, I can't remember what episodes, like season 1 but he did that with her previous, like that was like their little banter, the little joking, or that's something that he did, when she was younger. So it's like, let me try to, bring it back a little bit. So it's like, yeah, but you have to progress with the time. She's getting older. Right. And even though, maybe, probably 4-year-old Lottie, I don't know, Lottie, an old soul, maybe she was out there, right. I don't know. But 2, 3-year-old Lottie would have, went into the woods and were like, oh my God, like, yay, this Lottie, like, I'm over it. Like, so how long until you gone on the tour again and I'm with my mom and my grandparents? It's just like, I wish I was with my grandparents, because she probably spent, previous birthdays or, most of her time with the grandparents, or because she left her with the grandparents when she went to Amsterdam, right?
Yeah, she said, I think so.
Yeah. So it's like, you ain't been spending no time. I did not feel sorry. I was like, put the work in, bro.
Irene, your thoughts on this? And as I talk to you, man, I want to bring up from episode 2, going back to his therapy. I wish I could play the audio, but I don't want the stream taken. I don't know if y'all can see the subtitles, but it says when he's talking to his therapist, I think Lottie needs me more now than ever, So that might speak to Tyra's comments there, Tyrion, that he hasn't been there. He has been absent. He's trying to be like, I'm thinking of like athletes when they're like, especially like Tom Brady, for example. He's going through his whole family drama because he's almost 50 years old and still playing football. How many birthdays has he missed? How many family vacations he's missed? Do you think Ern at this moment in the little kayak is feeling like, man, I've really kind of maybe dropped the ball and been kind of absent?
Yeah. And then one thing I can give him is that at least he's admitting that he needs to be around his daughter, and that his daughter needs to be around him, especially because she is getting older. She's getting in that age where she is going to be more attached to him than ever. And they always say, daddy's little girls, they need it's always something that you can get from one parent that you can't get from another. Right. So she's going to get something from her dad that she cannot get from Van, and it's something she's going to get from Van that she can't get from Ern. But it's something she needs from Ern because she's more attached to Van, and she's not as attached to Ern. And I think Ern is trying too hard, while at the same time not taking in consideration her feelings. Like I said, this whole camping thing she didn't want to do that. That's why I said at the beginning, she was completely tuned out by it. She was completely unfazed by this trip from the get-go. This is not what she wanted to do for her birthday. And that again goes back to Ern thinking that, he has this position where he thinks he knows what she wants, but he really doesn't know what she wants because he's not there in that position that Van is. Right. But she knows that she wants him there, but it's almost like he doesn't know how to actually go about doing it. It's like in a lot of ways, he's allowing his career to get in the way, and he knows that he shouldn't. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, you talk about want to go to LA, you about to become even more distance from her now. So it's like, what are you going to do? Like, you have to find a way to make that work before it's too late, especially since she's getting older now.
Well said. Well said. This is why I love these discussions. I'm gonna miss this damn show when it goes off, man. We need that spinoff series.
I'm sorry, guys. We got an emergency here. We got to fix this. We got to fix this.
What we got?
We have 125 people watching right now.
125. Okay.
And we only got 62 thumbs up.
Wow.
What is going on, man? Wow. Can we get some thumbs up for Elliot in the chat, please? Can we get to at least 100?
At least,
I'm getting tired of that. Them fighting words at this point. Like, just step outside.
Come on, now.
Let me bring it up. Let's see where let me pull up the YouTubes here. Yeah, you're right, B. I mean, we're at 67, man, and right now 122. Yeah, can we snipe hunt the like button, y'all? Can we just hit it and just keep pounding it till it gets to 100? I would appreciate that. And also, more importantly than that, though, support these individuals on the screen. Their links will be in the description by the time this video is uploaded. So subscribe to them, follow them, do all that good stuff. Brandon, we are now at the point where it's nighttime. the snipe is out, the metaphor there, Earns has Snipe, and he's trying to have the discussion, and she brings up that I think you only want me to go to LA, Brandon, because I'm only your security blanket. Again, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but she feels so like she's not a person. She's just like an item at this point, man. What did you think about that moment? And was there a little bit of truth in there? Is Earn afraid to go to LA? As he says later, I can find a girl, I can do this, that, and the other. But do you think there was a little bit of truth in that, what she was saying?
Of course. And my man, he was skating on thin ice. It was thinner than a sploss. Like with his words, he was just kind of mean. Like he seemed like he was, for me, it seemed like he was a bit offended at first for her even asking that question or bringing it up. Like, how dare you challenge me? Like, what do you mean, mother effer? You asking this woman to move across the country,
right?
And you haven't committed to her. You've been a super flake. So of course you would lose respect for her if she didn't. If she was just like, okay,
right,
let's
drop
go,
everything and follow.
So I don't blame her at all. And Aaron saved the day in the tent, but his dialogue at the fire when they was doing the snipe thing, for him to say something like, I can find somebody else. I forgot exactly what it said, but I was like, you dodo bird, like, why would you put it that way? You're shooting yourself in the foot. I thought it was kind of foolish. And the interesting thing is Sade was at the very beginning of the episode and the end. The song title for the one at the end was Pride is More Than Love. Aaron was being real powerful right here at this moment, he was powerful and kind of mad and arrogant to me that he was being called out. I could be wrong. I may not be remembering it all the way, but that's kind of how I saw it.
Tyreen, same for you, man. Did you think Earn was being a little prideful in this moment, or do you think, as he tells her, what's so special about Atlanta that you can't leave? Maybe thinking like, you followed me to maybe he thought that she followed him to Amsterdam, not knowing that she went there to escape. I guess she could have went anywhere instead of Amsterdam. So I don't know if it was subconsciously she was chasing Earn, but what do you think about this moment?
I think it could also be an ego thing, because I think in some aspects Earn feels that Vance is going to go with him anywhere he goes.
Right.
And I think that he feels that he has like, it's almost like he has this spell over her, that she's just going to drop everything that she does to go and be where he's at. And I think it might actually scare him if she actually puts her foot down and says, no, I'm not going with you. Like, you're going to have to make this ultimate decision. If it's going to be your career, or is it going to be what we have right here, or trying to salvage whatever you think we have, but it can't be both, because it's always going to be like a tug of war type of thing. Right. And it's almost like a thing too. Like it almost sounds like to me, like she's not even scared to let him go. Like if it comes to that, but it sounds to me like he is scared to let her go. And it's almost like he's trying to have everything when he knows he can't, and he knows he can't have everything, but he feels like he can. And that's a lot of stress right there. So literally he's left with the one making the ultimate decision, but I'm sure by the end of the show, we're going to find out what decision he makes. We got 3 more left.
Got 3 more. Tyra, your thoughts on this security blanket conversation, following Earn wherever he goes? Is it a little bit of truth in what she was telling him?
Definitely. Even I think it was truthful on both parts. Like, I just couldn't get behind her saying drop everything. So I was like, I'm sorry, you're not doing
like what's there.
You can,
career with Mr. Chocolate movies.
An exceptional mother, but you can be a parent to Lottie pretty much anywhere. So it's not that. I was just more so like getting into her and that pushback. I was like, just tell him no. Just tell him no, and like, let's not force it, because it was so like. It was so forced, not on Ernst, because Ern had to put his little pride to the side. It's just like, he was kind of like in a boat, I guess, with the audience, like what's so great about it? It's not about, what's so great about it. It's not about me having to drop everything I'm doing, even though, I may be trying to still find my way and look for a job or whatever. It's just about who am I and what are we for me to even drop anything and come. Like, they're not together. They are not. I kept watching them like they aren't together. He's speaking as if kind of like she was in waiting, like, all right, I got everything together, so like, just come on. It's just like, no, it doesn't really work like that. They've been dating numerous people. We saw everybody who popped up in the most Atlanta episode, all the women,
all the
like
exes.
Like, just to think that I've been over here like, okay, well, I'm ready, you know, come on now. It's like, no, it doesn't work like that. Like, I wouldn't even say that they should just, I'm for them working on their relationship. And I loved how expressive he was once he, you know, put that persona off. And it's just like, you know, what do you have going? It's not about what I have going on. It's about what we aren't. But they are in no position to go, all right, we're good now. We can live together and we're going to have the happiest relationship in LA ever. That is definitely not.
Yeah, they far from that.
Yeah, it's not where they are. But all the force and the pushback and her just, you know, equating herself, well, it's because you don't want to be alone. It's because I'm Lottie's mom. It's because this. Not once did she mention their relationship. Nobody said anything about love. I was like, damn, this is dry. This is the most dry conversation. It wasn't like, well, why? Because you don't want to lose me because you see, like, oh, you don't want to be alone. It's like, like, it was just like, I heard what she was saying, but in my mind, I just kept hearing, so I ain't shit, because I ain't shit. Like, I ain't shit. Like, she's so troubled. I'm like, she needs to get some help, and he needs to get some help too before we try to go and live anywhere.
I agree. And kind of moving forward to the episode before we wrap, how the episode ends on that emotional moment. Another little theory, little fun little thing for you all, Brandon. Do you think, because we know Lottie, she is, as Tyrene pointed out, she can speak to animals. She has a gift there. She is a once-in-a-lifetime actress. She can just go on a set and pick up on it like that. Do we think, Brandon, that Lottie has secret magical powers, and she made a wish that mommy and daddy will be together on her 6th birthday, and they're gonna stay together?
You know what? With this show, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some revelation in the final season finale. But no, that did not cross my mind until now. So I kind of hope it happens now. She turns into like a princess with a big white dress with that wing or something. I am your guardian angel, you know, type thing. But no, I didn't think of that at all. But it'd be kind of cool.
Tyrene, am I thinking too much into her wish, man?
Before I get into that, I'm glad that you brought up this picture, because I thought that was the most pitiful thing to do with that candle and put it on that rather sad s'more. I'm like, that thing is leaning. I'm like, I hope the wish isn't too long, because the thing gonna tip over and it's gonna be on fire. Because that was oh man, I don't even know how they got that thing to stand up like that. I'm okay, but you know, hey, I'm gonna suspend disbelief. But back to what you were saying. I mean, hey, we never know. She might actually. Hey, I'll give you another theory. She might be she might be another mutant. You know, crossover event in the MCU. We just don't. Hey, and
yes,
you know, she might.
Harry, hear that? MCU is everywhere.
Right, it's everywhere. Like, you know what? And listen, I'm gonna be blown out of my mind if she pops up in the MCU sometime. Like, we're gonna come back to this stream right here.
Listen, hold on. Let me backtrack it. Tyra, this is for you. Brian Tyree Henry is an Eternal. Zazie Beetz is a Domino. She's an X-Men.
Yes, I know.
Donald Glover himself is in Spider-Man. He is, you know, Miles Morales' uncle. We might not be far off of Lottie in the MCU, Tyra.
So don't be now. You was talking about the comment. Now you trying to put too much on it, just like the coolest and it was the Snipe. Don't try to do that.
Right. Marvel, Kevin Feige,
none of that. Like,
Kevin
first
Feige,
of all, I was over it. There was no MCU in anything. If I had just shut up, don't even sing happy birthday. Just shut up. I just want to blow the candle out. Let's lay down this farce of a birthday. Like, I don't.
Yeah, that was funny when they started. The crazy part about it is they were starting to sing the Stevie Wonder version of it. Stop singing. She said, "Stop singing." I thought that was so. She said, "Stop singing." But you know what that reminded? But you know what that reminded me of? I don't know if Donald Glover pulled from this actual moment. But do y'all remember when it was some award show where Beyonce, Jay-Z, and Blue Ivy were sitting down, and I think Beyonce and Jay-Z were cheering too loud, and she looked over them and was like, "Tone it down, like tone it down." When I saw her do that with them, that made me think of that moment right there.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I was wondering if he pulled. I wonder if he pulled from that moment right there.
Yeah, it's like, chill. Like, we don't do that. We the Carters. Simmer down.
Is it this one here, Tyrene? This photo here?
Yeah, it was that one.
Or the same?
I think it was at the same. It was at the same event.
That's hilarious.
There it is, right there. That one right there. That's the one right there. Because I think Beyonce was clapping a little too hard. Blue Ivy was like, "Tone it down, tone it down."
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised.
No, I don't know, and I think I'm just probably a little old school as a parent, or just us in the South. Like, Lottie was real extra. I was like, hold on now, like, tone it down. I found myself looking at Lottie like just with the pushback, a little bit of the attitude. Like, I was like, put your hand down and blow the candle out. Like, don't shush me. But you know,
y'all remember do y'all remember a show back in the 70s called What's Happening?
Of course.
Oh yeah.
Remember the character D, who was always sassy?
Mm-hmm.
She had her D moment right there when she was like, "That's it." She says, because that's something D would say, "Stop singing, just stop singing."
D wouldn't say that to Mama though.
Right.
No, she wasn't disrespecting Mama.
Yeah.
She disrespected everyone else, but she knew Mama would have her like literally knocked across the room if she tried it.
That was no MCU. I felt like Lottie was like, this is a trash birthday. Let me blow this out. Y'all still haven't mended anything. I've been off in the one. Like, I think they thought she was off and playing with frogs. Lottie was probably listening, probably reading the room. I think she does a lot of that from how she's acted. But I felt like it was like, we still didn't come to no real conclusions after this whole, y'all just trashed my birthday for nothing. Let's get in the tent and let's just lay down.
She like, yeah, exactly. He said, it's not faking the funk. Like, let me just do my little wish and blow out this candle on this pitiful s'more. That's not even a cake. You couldn't even give me a s'more cake. You gave me a s'more. Like, what is this?
L for Van and Ern. Tyra, tossing to you first as we wrap up the episode. Ern's ego seems to be in the way a lot of the time. And this show in particular, he's a very petty individual. But he puts, as Brandon pointed out, the song, I think is perfectly, I don't think it's coincidence they played that song from, Miss Sade at the end of the episode. He puts away his pride and he sits up and to chatter. And you got to be cold if your teeth is literally doing this. Like, that's on another level of coldness. But again, it speaks to their relationship. They're in the separate rooms, separate tents. Lonnie was hurt with her mom, Ern's off to the side, but he finally kind of puts his pride aside and fights for something that he's never fought. He said, I never fight. I want this. Did you feel it was earnest? It was genuine? This last attempt to save his family, how did you feel about that moment? Did you get a little teary-eyed? Because they got a little teary-eyed in that moment. How did you feel about it? Did it work for you, Tyron?
Of course I didn't do that. No. No, like if it was maybe anybody else, if it was, something I championed, like for 4 seasons, I just been wanting them to get it right. For 4 seasons, we haven't even known what they were. So it was like, okay. Yeah. But I thought it was very genuine. I was happy to see those, those walls come down. And I was like, he's giving some of that vulnerability that we saw him give in therapy. And I was like, this is him being truthful and being honest. It's just like you buying a nice tent and renting out the park and, using your money as, what you've been doing. That hasn't been enough. So you really need to let your guard down and be honest about why you want her there. Now, as far as Van is concerned, I didn't feel like that was, reciprocated as much. Like, I thought maybe she would talk a little bit more. Like, I thought he was going to have his exchange and then she would go like, okay, well, yeah, what I was feeling like, and, maybe end with the I love you too. Like, it was just like, yeah, and even when he was talking and he's just purging, so it's just because I'm her mom. Like, girl, no, like it was like, what you want? What you get? Like, you don't want to be alone? Like, it didn't give me what I needed on her part. It was just like he's making progress and being vulnerable, and it still felt like she was stuck into like what she wasn't, or well, you can always get somebody else. And I even though y'all said he was doing the most, like. I loved in that moment, even though he was being vulnerable, it was still like a collar pop. Like, I could get bitches. Like, what are you saying? Like,
that's what he said. I'm not that bad looking.
Like,
I got a good job.
Like, you're saying it like, well, this is just because you don't want to be alone and I'm your security blanket. Like, if I didn't want to be alone and I just needed a body next to me, I could get that. I want you in my family. Like, but just, I don't know, just how he just kept going into the end. It was just like, all right, nigga, I'll go bring it in. Like, come on. Like, it wasn't, it didn't give me like, we're embarking on this together. It's just like, all right, you've begged me enough. All right, cool. I mean, I love you. I mean, I have no doubt that they have love for each other, but just how it was reciprocated. And it was just like, all right, come on in here, get in the blanket. Like, I love you too. I'm going to go with you, but it didn't feel like, yes, I love you. I would love to go with you. I would love for us to embark on our relationship and grow and parent light together. I'm anxious. I'm excited. It was just like, all right, sure, I'll go.
When you said that, it reminded me of that episode of Martin when Gina really wanted Martin to propose to her,
Oh,
but she
yeah,
wanted
yeah,
it to
yeah,
be
yeah,
genuine.
yeah.
And he got down on one
He
knee
did
and said,
yep.
"Yes,
I
Gina,
will
I will marry you. Are
Yep.
you happy
Damn.
now?"
Good
I was
call.
like,
Good call.
that yeah, when you was describing that scene played in my head, I'm like, well, damn.
Oh, that's a
That's
good
what
call.
it sounds like to me. Like, are you happy now?
Now.
Like, damn, that's
He was
what
like,
it
"Is
felt
that what you wanted to hear?" And she was
Oh,
like, "Yeah." She was like, "Yeah, Martin, thank you so much. That's exactly what I wanted to hear before saying goodbye and leaving."
that is a great reference there. I'm trying to pull up that scene. Shout out to Martin and Gina, man. I can't find it, but yes, the great call there. Brandon, man, your thoughts on the genuine. So for me, and before I get to you, Brandon, just the way I took that moment, Tyra, just to give a little bit more love to the scene. Now, I know I understand where you're coming from, the disingenuousness of it, but I went back. I had like a catalog of scenes. Number one, where they started, seeing them throughout the seasons, kind of being this on again, off again relationship. The distance in season 3. And Helen, this is where I went, Tyra. I went to Helen when she was essentially begging, fighting for this family that he didn't want at that time. And to have that, granted, Tyra, it was like 4 years. It took him a while. But I was in that moment with her where she was maybe shocked because she goes back to when he didn't fight for the family and now he's come kind of full circle. So that's where I was at with it, Tyra. B, were you more on Tyra's side or were you on my side or somewhere in the middle?
I'm Team Elliot over here. This
life.
yeah, it's all good. It's all good. This was my favorite scene out of the whole episode because one, it did feel genuine to me. I did believe Earn, and I got to push back Tyra as far as Van reciprocating. She gave the perfect response that I would expect given their relationship. I'm sorry.
What'd she say?
Nothing.
She said nothing. That's my
point. And I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. But before I do get there, it hit me on a personal level because while I was flaming Earn earlier, like talking about, and you kind of put it, Tyra, like, oh yeah, I can get more bitches. I made that same mistake 8 or 9 years ago, and that was, I think, the sentence that kind of ended that relationship with that young lady that I had. So now it wasn't like when I said it, it wasn't as crude as Earn. I didn't just volunteer like, hey, I can go get some more chicks. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like that. She was like, well, hey, why don't you go do this then? And I was like, well, I can. I met somebody last week. If you want to bring it up, and that was a horrible mistake. But I thought this was genuine because as you put the images up. And you helped me just now, Elliot, with my point I'm trying to make, and I don't even think you meant to with the old pictures. They always showed them laying down. Well, not laying down, but there was one image that you showed. Yeah, this one right here. This is how they were in the tent. But when she called him out, he got up and kind of like leaned over her and straddled her like, no, I'm not going to look at the ceiling and talk to you. I need you to see me eye to eye, face to face, look into my soul, to know exactly what I'm talking about. And I felt his tears. It was genuine. He took his time. And I even liked her response because when I was going live earlier on my recap, Zia, that's in the chat now, she brought this up saying that Van is she's really iffy because he hasn't been there. So for her, like make me big, if you don't mind. I said, no, make me big. So she was looking at him like this the whole time. Because she was scared. This is finally where it's kind of like, if you win the lottery, like, okay, did I win the lottery or am I getting pranked right now? Is this a recording? Am I gonna embarrass myself like Jeffrey on Fresh Prince and be all happy and get rid of the mean? She was like, she finally wanted to hear. And it wasn't like Martin's delivery, like, I will marry you. It was like, no,
not the delivery, like the reception, like that's what I got. I got that from from Van. I didn't get like
jumping for joy.
I said from the beginning that she had, the rightful reason to be hesitant because of everything that they've been through. But with her still being so hesitant and all of that just not being enough, I just feel like she's not, comfortable yet. But since he poured out so much emotion, it's just like, I'll go with you. Damn, like I can't have you purged like this. What am I gonna say? No, like You could say no. You could say I need a little bit more time to think about it. You could say you don't, that isolation and them being out there, no devices. Like Ern didn't pull out his phone one time. Like he meant business this episode. Like that was that I mean, that goes back kind of into not that manipulation. Manipulation can be, good or bad, but it's just like that. So like I need an answer like right now. And I just felt like it was a lot of pressure on her to get that answer.
I think maybe you can use the word pressure earlier on in the episode, and also when it was at the fire. But I thought that was a perfect delivery from him.
Yeah, he was fine. He was fine.
But I still feel her. I'm not blaming her and her lack of response. I think that was a realistic response. She's scared. She's nervous. I even said earlier, like, okay, women, it's never like women control sex, men control relationships. You never want to pressure. I guess
when that book coming out, B? When that relationship coming out? How many bars this man has dropped in this episode? I mean,
we all know that, but like, and I always say, you should never pressure a man. Like, when are you gonna marry me? When are you gonna marry me? When are you gonna marry me? And she didn't do that there. This would have been the perfect opportunity for her to do that. If you want me to move across the country, and him asking that dumbass question earlier, like, what's so special about Atlanta that you don't want to leave behind? What kind of shit is that? This is where she grew up, Dodo Bird. Like, why would she? Like, if she moves to LA and it doesn't work out, you have a job there. Like, you can still.
All the more reason not to go.
That's my point. That's my
like,
point.
She's still, I think she's scared, and it's just like you already feel like you have a lack of self-worth. Now, what's going to happen when you get there? And I'm just like, if I have to do all of this to get you to go, then you don't need to go. That's
my point. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm glad with her reaction, because she's scared. She's taking all this in that's kind of foreign to her. Like, I've been, how old is Lottie? 6. I've been, I don't want to use the word chase, but I've been pursuing trying to prove myself to him for 6-7 years, and now I'm finally getting what I want. Man, I don't know how. I mean, like, look, I'm just saying, look, all my life, I have never been the type of guy to where women approach me, like, oh, I think you cute, I think you handsome, I think you sexy, take my number. It's happened a couple of times. I've always been the pursuer. I've always, like, 98% of the time, I've been a pursuer. However, at one point in my life, it changed to where women would start approaching me more. I didn't know how to accept it.
So when you got those braids,
yeah. Hey, it's so crazy that he says that. It's so crazy that he says it, because I felt the same exact way. Like, when women would shoot, their shot at me, it kind of catch me off guard. Like, huh? Yeah, the game is definitely. It definitely, because it's like we're used to a certain thing, and I actually told the person, I said, it actually caught me off guard. They said, I don't know why, because you are a very intelligent person, plus you look the way you do,
bro.
So yes. And I actually I definitely won't show it, but I definitely have the DM of this person saying it to me, and I'm like, it really did catch me off guard, because we're not used to that. Like Brandon saying, we're used to doing the pursuing.
Right. And so it's just kind of like Van. She's like, whoa, I'm not used to this. You dumping all this love and crying and stuff. You being emotional in front of your daughter as well. That's new. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I have a channel, a couple of times where if a woman was across the country, hey, I'm in Dallas, I want to take you out for your birthday. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Is there a hidden camera around here? I didn't even accept the invitation, so I was so scared. I thought I was being pranked or catfished. I realized they was being genuine now, and so that's why this scene just hit home for me. Yeah. So I was just like, oh God, I've been through this, I've been through that, yada yada yada. So I was gonna say something else. Damn, I forgot.
Say Dodo Bird. That's what you
Dodo Bird.
Yeah. He was. Brandon, you need to shut it. Yeah, but damn, I done lost my train of thought. But it was a nice scene. Yeah. I liked his delivery. I liked the way she responded. It was just real genuine. And at first I was frustrated, like, if you're asking this woman if you're gonna ask her the dumb question like why don't you want to leave the place that you grew up and all you know, and even if we move to LA and we don't work out, I still have a job here. What, you gonna have to move back? You know, I just liked all of that. I liked all of that, and I was just saying to myself, Ern, this is the perfect time for you to propose to ask her to be your wife. And I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix it.
Will you be my wife?
Because you corrected me in this thought that I had, and other people did in my recap as well. I was like, bro, you need to propose, or Van, you need to be like, okay, well, I'll move if you put a ring on it. But then everybody was like, no, they're not there yet. They still working on their relationship. And I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. They're not there yet. So too soon. So yeah. So I was, y'all corrected me in that thought process, but that's just the things that was going through my mind.
Yeah.
But anyway, to sum it all up, it was a dope ass scene, and I loved it. So
well said. Terry, I don't know if I caught your thoughts on it, man. Did you feel it was genuine? Did you feel the love, or did you feel a little bit more like Tyra? Did you want more emotions from Van? Like, yes, finally, nigga.
I either wanted the yes, I want to go, or yes, I need more time. I love what you said, but I just need some more time.
I like the way that it played. I like the way that it played out. It felt organic. I think if it went any other way, it would have been like, oh my God. Like, it would have been one of them eye-rolling moments, like, what in the world is going on here? Yeah. And it's like, let's let it play itself out. Let it play itself out naturally. Don't try to force anything. Let it just happen, because we've already seen how y'all relationship has been over the past few seasons. It's really not evolved. It's still in that same spot. I don't know what it's going to have to take for something to click, for it to advance, because clearly, even with y'all having a daughter, it still isn't moving. So it's not her. Right. It's something that they have to work on together, just them two, to see if it's worth going to that next step, or if they're just going to continue doing what they're doing, which seems to me like they're just doing the whole stringing along process. And that's really not good at all. I say that Van and Ern have what I call a calm, toxic relationship. It's not like that, but it's just it's real calm, to the point where they know it's not a good relationship. They're playing it off like they have the best one, and they're just doing what works for them. But as the audience, we can see they clearly have a very toxic relationship that nobody should want to be in at all. And even look at this right here. You have Lottie that's turned a completely different way. She's not even like cozied up with them. She just like, listen, I'm just ready for this trip to be over with. When I wake up, I want to be in the car and on the way back to the city, because this ain't it. And now she's not even there.
Yeah. That's interesting, though. What I did love about that scene, I think Brandon talked about earlier, it's, to me, like I said, the reason it hit for me is it just goes back full circle from even this conversation in episode 1 where he's talking about his dreams with the hands, and there was a woman in the dream, and Van's first thing is, who's the girl? To them, kissing in the bed, and she says, tell me you love me. And he laughs, and she says, why'd you laugh? And he says, of course I love you. And then to tie it into this episode, when she says, I do love you, whatever, he says, I know, and he says it back. So it just, to me, it seems like the maturity and the growth in the relationship still needs to be worked on, obviously. But I feel like it's come a long way from episode 1, season 1. It's come a long way from Ern not being in a position to move forward in his family and his relationship. So I took that moment in, Tyra. I wasn't disappointed in that moment. But I understand where you're coming from, though, as far as Van not emoting maybe the proper emotions at that moment. But as we wrap up this episode, Snipe Hunt, the rain's out coming out. They're grabbing the tent. Well, actually, they leave it there, and I think a very beautiful moment for me, Brandon, and everyone here in the chat, was seeing little Lottie looking at her mom, smiling and being happy. And again, she's a mutant, y'all. She made that wish come true. That was her wish to get the family back
right.
Together.
Exactly.
Brandon, what did you think about this ending, man? Any final thoughts on this episode, and of course this last moment?
That was perfect, man. It couldn't have ended better. They had the song playing, and the Sade was playing as well. And so, children, if possible, it's just always better for children to see their parents loving on each other. That is great, mental development, in my opinion. Instead of seeing them fighting and arguing and bickering or separated, they're giggling and laughing and frolicking around. That's just wonderful, and so that is going to help elevate her mind in all the best ways.
I agree. Because if you watch a Mr. Chocolate movie, mom and dad ain't together, right? So, Tyra, your thoughts on this with this episode and overall this scene here with them too, Tyra?
I love the episode. I love the ending. I love, the love is stronger than pride. Another one of my favorite Sade songs. I love seeing Lottie happy. Like you can tell, it's just like, oh, finally, like this is what, if I had to sacrifice a birthday to eat this sad snore, it was all worth it, to see that you guys are happy. Yeah. But I'm just hoping that this happiness, because I think it's being interpreted that I wanted Van to go, oh yeah, like I wanted for her to just make sure that she's making the right choice on her own for herself, and it's not just due to any pressure. Because if you guys can't maintain this, like I don't know, it bothered me that Earn left that tent, like the money and the money. That thing, like we're still kind of leaning back into that in any small instances that we can in the show, and it's just like it's a little drizzle. Oh, just forget it, we'll leave it. I get another one. Like, okay, so it's just that disconnect there, financially, and it's just like I hope that they can maintain this, and we're not giving Lottie this false sense of, oh, they're together, like, oh, they're happy. We're gonna all be together and be happy, and they move and haven't dealt with any real problems, and it's the same thing, but just in LA. So I'm hoping that this feeling, this euphoria that we got at the end, I hope it lasts.
Oh boy, here's another theory here. Like I said, so many great theories. This was all the dream, y'all. This was all a dream. I would be mad if that was the case. Tyria, man, thoughts on the ending? Happy family?
I'm glad that this ending happened the way that it did. Like y'all was saying, it's good to see that Lottie was smiling and seeing her parents, be happy. And I was thinking here, saying to myself, like looking at the ending, what if that was her whole point of wandering off on her own, was so her parents could properly bond? Because she probably felt like they couldn't properly bond with her being there. So let it organically happen. So it's like this whole trip, while she was over the trip, clearly it ended up serving a purpose in the end. And it's seemingly on surface that Van and Earn definitely have a more deeper connection than we have seen. And now it looks like going back to what I was saying, that their relationship is trying to elevate even more, because it's very rare that you have Van and Earn smiling on a common level, because a lot of times it always seems like it's some kind of friction there. Like they're not like just on one playing field where they're both just genuinely happy, because other times if they are happy, it seems like it's forced. But this time it actually seems like it's a genuine like commonality of them being happy in each other's presence. So I think in the end, the trip definitely did serve its purpose. And to see that, they're all smiling, it's like one big happy family. I'm like, it's almost like one of the things that if they put their phone right there in the front and took a picture, that could have been a good family portrait.
Good one. I totally agree with you. And my last point on it while we wrap it up, I think that was the first time in the episode that Lottie smiled, if I'm not mistaken, was at that point. And then going back to, again, when I think of the catalog of their relationship, I think the last time we saw them together, literally Lottie, Van, and Earn, was when he left to go to Europe in season 2. So again, it's just a full circle moment of the family, and not saying that they didn't spend time together off screen, because we didn't see every little single moment of their lives, but just from a story narrative perspective of what we've seen for the audience. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, the last time we saw them together as a family was him leaving, to this now they're in the car, happy, smiling, moving forward to LA together. So we'll see what the future holds for this couple. But more importantly, man, this is why I love Sundays, to have these discussions with these amazing people and everyone in the chat. So, man, I'm gonna miss this show, y'all. We still got 3 more.
And one thing you noticed too, when this episode ended, it didn't show a preview for the next one.
Someone mentioned
it didn't show a preview, so it's like, like where are they going with this? What's going to happen?
I mean, it's Darius.
the return of Teddy Perkins.
And I just want to say one more thing real quick. I didn't come up with this myself. I think it was a gentleman was named William, and that was in my chat. And you kind of alluded to this, and Tyra, like the tent all being wobbled was a representation of their relationship, how it was a weak. And I agree with you on the point of like why you leaving money behind, with the tent. But somebody was like, they left the tent behind because they're leaving the old life behind and trying to start a new in LA or whatever. So I kind of thought that was cool.
And then the dove flew over.
And then So next week, episode 8, which Tyrene was alluding to, no trailers, called "The Goof Who Sat by the Door." An in-depth look at the making of American classic, a Goofy movie. Okay.
Oh wow!
Wow.
I would be down for that.
What?
I
Wow.
would be down.
Wow.
That's one of my favorite movies growing up. Was the Disney movie.
Okay, that's gonna
Goofy
be.
movie.
I'm intrigued now because a Goofy movie is one of my favorite
If you get the
classic
dance off
movies
and then
too.
they in the, oh man, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. But as we outro out, starting
This
with
will be a perfect Darius episode.
it has to
Just
be.
on that description alone, that would be a perfect
need it.
Darius episode.
I need it, Tyrene. And hey, man, this was I knew this was gonna be fire, and it exceeded my expectations to have you all, man. And we definitely gotta do this again. Maybe we'll bring Tyra on to talk some Marvel, and have this whole group together. Tyrene, man, again, man, it's been I can't thank you enough for just dropping all the great knowledge you do in the chat, man, and the comments that you left. And again, your channel is incredible, man. Love the
Appreciate
insight
it.
you bring to the platform, and we gotta do this again, man. But I really
Almost
appreciate you
definitely.
coming on and outro and out, man. Let the people know where they can find you and what's the next bit of content you got lined up for them on your platform.
All right. Well, y'all can find me here on YouTube. Torian Rain Reloaded. Elliot left the link down in his description. Y'all can go and find me and subscribe over there. I know some people over here that's already done that. I appreciate it. I'm also on Twitter, Torian Rain Reloaded on there as well, and as well on Instagram. I say Instagram at Torian_Rain. And you know, I upload 3 videos a day, Monday through Friday, or 2 videos on Friday, and a live stream at 6 on 1 video on Saturday and Sunday. Got a lot of content coming up. I'm actually so backed up because I've been recording so many videos. I think I recorded probably maybe about 7 videos in the last couple of days. So it's a lot happening at such a heavy, fast pace. You know, you got to try to keep up with everything. And even if you don't, I mean, you know, the stuff is out there for the consumption. He pulled it up, the channel up on the screen right there. And yeah, you see I had the Black Adam review right there, that third one right there. Enjoyed the movie, thoroughly enjoyed it. But definitely, if y'all have not subscribed to the channel, definitely please do so. I would greatly appreciate that.
So definitely do yourself a favor and subscribe and show them some love and support. Check them out on Twitter, all that good stuff. And Tyrene, again, we gotta do this again, man.
Listen, based on that description for next week's episode, you might see me again on Sunday. This upcoming Sunday. If this is like the way that they're describing it, it's going to be something
going down.
And just on that description, I can see why they didn't show a preview of
it. For it, yeah. I can't wait. But Tyra, always a pleasure. Love your takes on it. Love on the show, on everything, including Marvel. And I'm so excited to continue these conversations in the future. And excited to see what you have lined up for the people this week on your platform. So why don't you let them know where they can find you?
Oh my goodness, I got some good stuff coming up this week. Like I should be dropping my video tonight for Raising Canaan. But this week, I will be doing Menace to Society. I will also be doing a review because I'm apparently getting into album reviews now. So I will be doing DMX's Dark and Hell is Hot. That's going to be a good time. Let's see, Cooley High's coming up. It's just so much. And I do believe that I will be dropping a video for the show Interview with a Vampire. I'm getting into that as well. So I would like to discuss that. But it's always a lot going on. Like I don't have a nice schedule like you guys because I can't set up a schedule to give you guys like 6 o'clock because if I'm doing a skit and that takes longer in the beginning, like it just be all over the place. But I do try to drop between like 4 to 6 times a week if I can. So come on over and subscribe, and it's a good time. Like y'all know what it is. Stop playing with me. Oh man, thank you, Elliot. Yes, pull it up. Help me get to 10, y'all.
Definitely. And that 4 to 5 times you drop content, Tyra, is always fire. So definitely, guys, show us some love, show us some support, and subscribe to our channel. Yes. My man B.A.V., who came this morning dropping the fire 6 a.m., came back with his Atlanta review. And
Dylan. Yes.
He will be back with his weekly roundup movie and TV news show. So, Brandon, man, where can they find you, and what do you have lined up for the people this week on your platform?
Yeah, man. Well, first, Elliot, thanks for having me. I do appreciate it, bro. It's always fun. And congratulations again on hitting 40K subs. Help this man get to 50K. Like you said, I will be having my movie news roundup show later on this evening, either at 5:30 p.m. CST or 6 o'clock. It just depends. Sorry, but there's a 30-minute difference, so that'll be okay. But you can follow me on social media, just my opinion 84, or here on YouTube at just my opinion reviews. Help me get to 50K as well. Trying to do that by the end of the year, but we cutting it close. Also, besides my movie news roundup show, the next video that I'm gonna be talking about some Dookie, good old Dookie in the toilet. That has to do with Love is Blind season 3 that's on Netflix. If you watch the show, if you've seen episodes 3 and 4, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I recorded it. I just got to edit it or whatever. And then after that, Love is Blind episodes 5, 6, and 7. I'll be releasing those videos as well this week, early Wednesday morning. And I got to find another show to watch because, She-Hulk is over with. Raising Kanan is done. I may do Peripheral, the Amazon show. I haven't watched it yet. I looked at the trailer. It didn't look too appealing, but I'm going to look at it one more time. But just subscribe. I got a lot of crazy stuff. Oh, and please check out my Till review. Till, the Emmett Till review, the movie. Just check out my review. I put a lot into it, and it took a lot out of me as well. It's a 30-minute review, and I never have reviews that long unless it's a spoiler review, because I had some things to say. I couldn't say everything I wanted to say because I didn't want my YouTube channel to be taken down. But yeah, it was an emotional roller coaster for me. And one of the things that really sucked is after I've seen the movie, I didn't know anybody else to see it, and I had nobody to talk to about it. And so it's a conversation piece. And so I strongly recommend you see it. Just prepare yourself. But for me, it set a fire up under my ass just to do some things that I need to get done as far as Black people receiving justice, in this country and in the world. But yeah, just subscribe. And I got Black Adam. Oh yeah, and yesterday, me, Elliot, E-Man, and Kim from Kimberly. She used to be on a Just My Opinion. Not Just My Opinion, John Kemper show. We had an epic 2-hour discussion on Black Adams, all spoilers. Elliot got it on the screen. It was a very, very fun discussion. One of the best spoiler reviews that we had. And so check that out. Check out the Black Adam spoilers review. Check out the Till movie review and subscribe. And I would love to have you.
Of course, the man, E-Man from E-Man Movie Reviews, y'all. So listen, 2 hours later, we're wrapping it up, y'all. Shout out to Brandon, Tyrian, and Tyra. Check them out. Links can be found in the description. And then later today, like I said, Sunday Fun Day. I will see you all tonight talking about them dragons, as Brandon alluded to. Man, this show's ended. She-Hulk ended. Atlanta's ending. I need to find a new show too, B. But before the end, we got this show to talk about tonight at 7:45 p.m. Watch along, and then our live after show after. So hope to see you all there. For myself, Brandon, Tyrian, and Tyra, you all have been awesome. Try to be safe when you go camping. Don't pick up no wild, crazy animals. And tell the people you love.
Experienced people. Don't go into a lodge. Actually experience it.
Yes, that is right. And also, like I said, the people you love, let them know you love them, right? Don't wait to the last minute before it's too late or whatnot. And show the love to the people out there. But we will see you guys on the next one.